Thank you, Denny Matthews, and hi again, everybody. It is a beautiful day, and incidentally, the left field area here at County Stadium is the sun field, very much like it is in the Yankee Stadium. Normally, right field, as you know, is the sun field, but it might be very treacherous out in left and left center with the sun shining in the outfielder's eyes in that direction. Hardly any clouds up there to use as a background for any kind of a fly ball. Don Sutton taking his tune-up tosses. The veteran right-hander has never faced the Angels. He and his catcher, Ted Simmons, say that they've worked out a system about the hitters that they do not know about. Both of these are refugees from the National League. And Don just makes a mental picture that the Angels that are going up there with the bats are National League batters that he knows something about. So he will take a certain hitter in the Angel lineup, compare him to somebody who is similar in the National League, and pitch to him with that direction. Sutton made a rather late entry to the diamond. I don't know whether that was intentional or not. Maybe it was a psychological ploy. Maybe it wasn't. Anyway, he is still tuning up, and we'll have Downing, Carew, and Reggie Jackson, the first three to face the veteran right-hander. If there is a game tomorrow, Kenny Forrest will pitch against Moose Haas, a couple of right-handers. Well, here's Downing stepping in. Right-hand batter, open stance. He's had one hit in the 7 turns at bat so far in the 2 games. He had that hit the first time up in game number 1. He also drew a walk in that game. Open stance batter who hails from California. Outfield plays him straight up. They'll have Molitor in even with the bag. It'll be Molitor at third, Yount at shortstop, Gantner at second, Cooper at first. Ogilvy is in left, Thomas in center, Moore in right. Simmons a catcher, and here's the first pitch, and it is a strike on the inside corner. Rich Garcia went up with the right-hand call. Some complaints in Baltimore the last time Sutton pitched about a scuffed-up baseball. The umpires will keep an eagle eye out for that. Veteran right-hander getting his sign from Simmons, ready to go to work again. Here's the pitch to Downing. It's a pop-up over back at first base. Cooper calling for it and makes the catch just in foul territory. Downing fouls to the first baseman, Cooper. There's one away, and here is the hitless Rod Carew coming to bat. Rodney's been about 8 times. He has fanned 4 of those times. He does not yet have a hit. And that is something when you can keep Rod Carew off the bases. Outfield will play him toward left. Molitor in close at third base. Sutton ready to go to work. 1 out, nobody on, no score, first inning. The pitch is swung on, and there's a drive to center for a base hit. Carew picks up his first hit of the series. A line shot to center. Didn't take him long, did it, Denny?
Ernie, it was interesting what you were saying about Don Sutton visualizing some of the National League hitters when he pitched to the unfamiliar California Angels. But he said, when I got to Rod Carew, I suddenly realized there was nobody in the National League that I could compare with Rod Carew.
Well, that's pretty true. Not too many of them like him. Here's Reggie Jackson stepping in now. Reg with 1 for 7. He hit a home run. Facing Don Sutton, the right-hander, and the outfield is very deep and straight up on Reggie Jackson. Carew out the bag at first. Reggie takes a wide, low fastball. Ball 1, the count on Jackson. The infield in double play depth. They've got the Yount pulled to the glove side a little bit over towards second base. They bunch toward the middle on Jackson. Really don't play him to pull. It's just about straight away. Sutton ready to go to work. Looks over his shoulder, and Carew gets back to first base. Cooper holding on the bag with him. Reggie leans in. Here's the pitch. He swings and fouls it away. Right down in the dirt at the plate. Taking that typically vicious Reggie Jackson cut. Breeze coming in from left. It might hold up a ball that gets in the air to left field. When we first came out, it was more of a cross breeze, blowing from the left field corner toward the right. Now it seems to be in a little bit more from left. 3:15 down each line. This is a good ballpark. Home runs are hit here, but they have to be pretty well earned. And it is a big, enthusiastic crowd at County Stadium. There's a strike called. He got a breaking ball over. Sutton is a master of the way he pitches. He is a pitcher in the true sense of the word. He'll go for the corners. He will try to make the batter hit his pitch. He has a variety of stuff. He does not throw as hard as he once did. And he and Jeff Zahn are pretty much alike in the way that they pitch. They are very crafty. Here's a pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck it out. 2 down, 1 on. And here's the Angel with the most hits in the series coming up. Freddie Lynn. He has 5 for 8. Now Garcia wants to inspect the baseball. Well, the plate umpire will look it over. Talking about that with Rich yesterday, he says, I'll warn him if it's scuffed, that the next time a scuff ball comes to the plate, he is out of the game. Here's Fred Lynn. Left hand about it, the outfield straight up on Fred. The infield is back now with 2 out, a man at first base. No score first inning in Milwaukee, and he takes a fastball in tight at the letters. The wind is coming out of the east at 9 miles per hour here at County Stadium, Milwaukee. What a beautiful afternoon. Here's the set by Sutton. He delivers, and Lynn looks at a ball high and away. 2-0 the count on Fred Lynn. With 1 out, Carew singled. Then Jackson fanned, and that's where we are now, the opening inning. California batting in the 3rd game of the playoff series. They've won the first 2. Runner goes. Pitch is taken. Here's the throw to second. He is safe at second base. Carew gets a stolen base. The pitch was low for ball 3. That is the first steal for the California Angels. And also the first steal of the series. Carew had 10 stolen bases in the regular campaign. He's in scoring position now with 2 down. Fred Lynn waiting on a 3-0 delivery from Sutton. Don Baylor is the next batter. Lynn takes a high curve and he puts him on. Denny, it seemed that he was not going to give him anything too good to hit that trip.
Ernie, he wanted very little of Fred Lynn, particularly after Rod Carew swiped second base and they had first open, and I'm sure he feels a little bit more comfortable up there, right-hander against right-hander.
But here's a tough right-hander, Don Baylor, who knocked in 5 runs in that first game. Was the hitting hero for the Angels, the game that Tommy John won, the opener in Anaheim, and now Baylor stepping in to see what he can do with runners at second and first. 2 down, no score, first inning. Baylor with 2 hits and 6 trips in the 2 games. Right-hander against the right-hander, and Don takes a strike. Got the inside corner with a fastball. That's the same pitch Sutton used to start the game against Downey. No score, first inning, County Stadium, Milwaukee. Sutton ready to go again, and the pitch, Baylor takes a cut and misses. That was a hard one right through the letters. Baylor steps out for a moment. About a year ago, Sutton was submitting to surgery on his right kneecap that had been fractured by a pitch by the Dodgers' Jerry Rowe. Here's the pitch. He looks at the ball in too close. Royce got him on the kneecap, and he had a long and painful recovery after that. He's come back. And he's pitching here in the 3rd game of this playoff. Here's the next delivery to Baylor. He takes just off the inside corner. 2-2 the count. That was a close one. Molitor now is very deep at third base. They've got Cooper off the bag and playing behind the runner. 2 men on. That's Lynn at first, Carew at second. No score, first inning. Angels with a 2-out threat. Sutton deals 2-2 pitch, swung on a bounding ball off the hand of Sutton, picked up by Yelp, throw to first, and he is out at first base. Good stretch by Cooper to the outfield side, saves an overthrow. No runs on the 1 hit, a walk, no errors. 2 left at the end of a half inning. The game is scoreless.
When you buy products of any kind overseas and bring them home through U.S. Customs, you have to declare them.
Jeff Zahn, the left-hander, a veteran who was an 18-game winner this year, and his best year of his major league career. Young man born in Baltimore, grew up in Toledo, Ohio, attended the University of Michigan. Good many years ago, 1976, he was released by the Chicago Cubs. He thought he was out of baseball. Good friend of his, Jerry Terrell, talked him into coming back. He signed with the Minnesota Twins, made a great comeback, followed Gene Mock from the Twins to California, and here he is opposing Sutton and the Brewers in game number 3 of this playoff series. He throws a forkball, and he throws a good variety of pitches, but Jeff Zahn is not an overpowering type pitcher. Got a shadow of the grandstand that will now cut back at first base. It will be practically in foul territory except for a part of it out in the right field corner. And as the day goes on, we'll see that shadow reach out mostly toward left field. Right now, it's still in foul territory between home and third. Molitor will be coming to bat. All it is about a 32-ounce stick. We were talking about weights of bats with some of the players before the ball game. Bailey uses one of the heaviest, 35. Ben Ogilvy uses a 35-ounce bat, one of the heaviest. Fred Lynn probably has the lightest of anybody in this game. He goes down to about 30 ounces. Ed Roche, the old Hall of Famer, had a bat that was 48 ounces. He had one of the heaviest of all time. Dick Allen, the modern players, had one of the heaviest bats, 44 ounces. It's about the weight that Babe Ruth used. Well, Molitor at the plate now with 3 for 8 for the series. Ready to pitch is on. He delivers in too close on Paul. Robin Yount will bat next. Then it'll be Cecil Cooper. DeCincy in close at third base. Molitor waiting, and here it comes. He swings and fouls it back toward the press area. 1-1, the count on Paul. Outfield slightly toward left. Here's the windup. Zahn delivers. Here's a fly ball hit the left field. Downing coming near the line. He's here to glove it for the out. Pretty good run for Downing, and he picks it off for the first out. 1 up and 1 down. Here comes Robin Yount. Robin with a couple of singles and 8 trips in the previous 2 games. Odds-on favorite to be the most valuable player in the league. Last shortstop to win that title in the American League, Zoller besides. Minnesota Twins and Ernie Banks, the last man in the other league. Did it for the Cubs twice in 58 and 59. There's a strike called on Robin. No score. We're in the first inning at County Stadium, Milwaukee. Zahn delivers, and Yount hits a fly ball to right field. Going back, Carew and Gritch, and it's Carew to glove it there in the shadows. So there are 2 down, and Cooper will be the batter. At one time in baseball, when the most valuable player was selected, it was announced before the World Series. But a fellow named Roger Peckinpah, who was a great shortstop for the Yankees in the mid-20s, won it in that year in the mid-20s, and then in the World Series, after the announcement, set a record for the most errors by shortstop in the World Series. So the procedure now has been changed. Here's a strike called on Mr. Cooper. Big curveball got over on Coop. Batting 125, 1 for 8. His 1 hit in the series, a double. He takes a fastball wide. We see 2 pitchers who work very much alike. Zahn and Sutton. They pick off the corners. They are tough. There's a swing and a miss by Cooper. That was a hard curve or slider. No score first inning. 1 hit in the game belongs to Rod Carew. The Brewers have not had a hit yet. There's a strike called. He stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched that one go by. Struck him out. And it's 1-2-3 for the Brewers in the first. At the end of 1, no score.
Who's and last for years insist on DAP, the most trusted name in caulks, fillers, and adhesives. DAP.
Doug DeCincy will lead it off now for the Angels. He had a couple of hits in the 2 games so far, 2 for 7. Then it'll be Bob Gritch and Tim Foley to follow against Don Sutton. Ground crew went over toward first base, a little back of first base, and dug a little dirt off the scud of the infield. They got 3 buckets full, and they're going to take it somewhere and do something with it. No score. We're going into the second inning now in Milwaukee. Doug DeCinces, who had a tremendous year for these Angels, getting ready to step in now and face Don Sutton. Each one of them taking his time. We'll see who gets ready first. Sutton seems to be ready now, and he will have to wait on Doug DeCinces. Don goes in the motion, delivers, and it is a breaking ball over for a strike. Sutton, a native of Clio, Alabama, makes his home now in California. He grew up in his high school years. He was around Pensacola, Florida. And all those great years with the Dodgers. Here's the pitch. He takes a half a cut. Did he go? Nope, he held off. And the count is even on DeCinces, 1-1. No score, second inning in Milwaukee. The Angels are batting. Molitor deep at third and fairly close to the line on the right-hand batter. Close stance hitter DeCinces swings and pops a foul out of play, back of the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The count on him, and Rich Garcia dusting off the plate with his spikes. DeCinces will go to right center quite a bit out of that closed stance. They try to keep the ball down on him. Here's Sutton getting his sign from Simmons, working on the 1-2 count to Doug DeCinces. Swing a tapper off the hand of Simmons, back of second. Yount has it, throw to first. He got him. 1 away. Now, I'm not sure that ball hit Sutton on the hand, but it may have. He reached his bare hand for it, and if it didn't, it came very close. 1 away. Bobby Grich will be the batter. Sutton did not touch the grounder with his hand, so it'll be scored 6-3. Here's Grich, and he takes a wide one, ball 1 on Bob. 3 hits and 5 in the opening 2 games of this set. Right-hander against the right-hander. Grich takes a wide one, and the count on Bobby Grich is 2-0. Sutton joined this Milwaukee club the 30th of August, just in time to be eligible for these playoffs. Now, decides he will wait a moment. Now he winds, and he pitches, and Grich swings and rolls a foul over toward third base. Rich Garcia hustling out, picking it up, and he's going to take a little look at it before he throws it back to Sutton. Bobby Grich, born in Michigan. His family was living in California. But the grandmother wanted Bobby's mom to go back to Michigan and give birth, and he became a native of Muskegon. Here's the motion and the pitch to him, and he swings and misses on a breaking ball toward the outside, 2-2. That's a pitch that we'll see Sutton use quite a lot against the right-handers. Getting that ball down and away against them. Now the 2-2 delivery coming up. Grich is waiting. Here it is. He takes, and it is off the corner. Full count. No score, second inning. 1 out, nobody on. The Angels are batting against the right-hander Don Sutton of Milwaukee. Don goes into action again, pitches. There's a swing and a miss. He struck him out. 2 down with the bases empty, and here comes Tim Foley. Foley with 1 hit for 6. Foley and Don Sutton and Bob Boone all had dinner together last night at the English Room at the Hotel Vista. And I didn't ask who paid. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball outside, ball 1. Sutton says he's happy to be in a big game. He relaxes, and then he does his best. Bounding ball is short. Robin Yount has it. Throw to first. Got him. They're out 1, 2, 3 in the California second. At the end of 1.5 innings, the game is scoreless.
This fall from Motorcraft.
Get up to $9.50 in refunds on some of the highest quality automotive products you can buy for any make of car. Save up to $4 on Motorcraft spark plugs and $1 on Motorcraft oil and air filters. Save $1.50 on 5 quarts of Motorcraft oil. Plus, get $2 in bonus refunds on qualifying purchases. See your Motorcraft retailer for details now to November 30th. Motorcraft automotive products from Ford for the future of your car, for sure.
You do get a sense of pride in reserve.
Army Reservist Karen Gorey.
You always have a sense of pride, I guess, because after going through basic, after going through your schooling, and then getting back to your unit, you're going, whew, I finally made it. I get a good feeling because I know I've done it. And no one can ever change that feeling.
If you'd like to earn a nice extra income 1 weekend a month, call your Army Reserve recruiter today.
'Cause we need you
Paid for by the Army Reserve.
in the Army Reserve.
Brewers coming to bat in the second. The game is scoreless. If the Angels don't sweep these American League playoffs today, we'll have a CBS Radio triple-header sports special for you tomorrow. Starts with Game 4 between the Milwaukee Brewers and the California Angels at 12:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Later in the day, we switch to horse racing in the Jockey Club Gold Cup at 5:25 Eastern Time. And then on many of these same stations, you'll hear the National League playoff game between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Atlanta Braves. Plenty of action for weekend sports fans from CBS Radio. Jeffrey's on, the left-hander, taking his tune-up tosses. It'll be Simmons, Gorman Thomas, and Ben Ogley, the middle part of the batting order. And so far, that middle part of the batting order has not been a very productive part for manager Harvey Keene. Ogley has failed to hit. Gorman Thomas has a home run. That's his only hit. And Ted Simmons has done better. He's had 2 hits in 8 trips. Here's Ted up now, batting right-handed. The outfield around toward left on him. No score, second inning. Milwaukee trying to break the scoreless barrier. And there's a strike call to hit the inside corner with a fastball. DeCincy deep at third near the line. The shortstop Foley pulled over into the hole. They're playing him to pull. And a changeup. He pulls this one foul down the third base way on the ground, a sharp grounder. Strike 2, the count on Simmons. Ted had quite a struggle when he first came to the American League. He said it took him a while to learn the pitchers. But his hitting has certainly picked up. Now the strike 2 delivery is swung on, and there's a foul fly up at third. DeCincy is there, has it, one away. Oh, the first 4 Milwaukee Brewers have gone down in a row. Here comes Gorman Thomas. These Milwaukee bats have been much more still than they're used to being in their regular competition in the American League. The Angel pitching has held them off. John Keeson and now Zahn doing the job on the Milwaukee lumber. A couple of practice swings by Gorman. He has stepped back in there. Left-hander Zahn delivers. It is a ball outside on Gorman Thomas. They are to left and deep on him. One hit in the game. It belongs to the Angel first baseman Rod Carew. No score yet in Milwaukee. Here's a pitch. He takes a high, hard one under the chin. 2-0, the count on Gorman Thomas. Gorman likes to step out and take those practice cuts and sometimes do a little bit of the calisthenic exercise. Still not quite ready to get in there and look at the left-hander. Now Zahn checks his sign with Bob Boone and goes into the windup. The pitch is a strike on the outside corner above the knees. That's a tough one to handle. The left-hander ready, winds and deals. Thomas takes. It is a wide one. 3-1. Gorman has 20 more home runs in each of his last 5 seasons. And a lot of them have been hit here in this home ballpark. Zahn waiting on him to re-enter the batter's box. 1 out, nobody on. Here's a pitch. He swings and does not get it. Full count on him. That was a fastball between the belt and the knees. Zahn does not show the hitters that fastball a great deal, just enough to set up his other pitches. Now Gorman digging in again. The 3-2 pitch is on the way. He cuts and misses. Struck him out. It was a breaking ball. That's the second strikeout recorded by the California left-hander Zahn. He has set down the first 5, and here comes Ben Ogilvie looking for his first hit in the series. Ben says he feels a lot better today than he did for the other 2 games. His hands are in fine shape. We told you in the first game that he had some problems with the tendons in his hands. He's taken cortisone shots. He has failed to get a hit in this series. Left-hander against the left-hander. And he swings and misses. He pulled the trigger too soon. It was a changeup. And he was well out in front of that pitch. No score, Milwaukee batting. Bases are empty, and they're 2 away. Here's one that hit him. Got him on the right shoulder, I believe. And he'll trot down to first base. The first run for the Brewers.
Ernie Jeff Zahn and catcher Bob Boone really grumbling at plate umpire Richie Garcia because they felt that Ogilvie made no attempt whatsoever to get out of the way. And now the plate umpire Richie Garcia following Zahn back toward the mound as they continue to discuss it.
Practically a changeup. Here's Don Money, the veteran right-hand hitter who is the DH against left-handers. Money played against Tommy John and went 0 for 3. He did not play in the second game. Zahn delivers, and Don takes a strike. Man on, 2 down, no score. Milwaukee batting, second inning, County Stadium. Third game of the series. California leads 2 victories to none. There's a fastball in close, and the count even on Money at 1-1. And the farmer from New Jersey steps out now, knocks some dirt from his spikes. He stands very deep in the batter's box. Zahn ready, deals in too close with the fastball, 2-1. Carew will hold on the bag with Ogilvie. Ogilvie is not a good base runner. Now Zahn steps off, rubs up the ball at the back of the mound. Some organized cheering from the Brewer fans in the background. Here's the set by the left-hander, the pitch. Money swings and grounds one foul over toward the Angel dugout. This is just a fantastic afternoon here. Probably around 70 degrees when the game got underway. Bright blue skies. It's very hard to find a cloud anywhere. Maybe a little wisp or 2 somewhere around. Here's the set, the 2-2 pitch. Money swings and pops it up. Between the mound and third, it comes to Sensei. He makes the catch, and the Brewers are out, but only a hit batter. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a 1-man left. And at the end of 2 at County Stadium, the game is scoreless.
Haddon Travel, put the world in your hands. Haddon Travel.
Haddon Travel has good news. Good news and more good news. The good news is that Haddon introduces 1983 value vacations to Hawaii starting from $599 plus tax and service. 1 week in Honolulu, 10 days or 2 weeks in Honolulu, Maui, or Kauai, 13 days in San Francisco, Honolulu, and Las Vegas. And Haddon's value vacations start from only $599. More good news. Haddon's deluxe escorted programs now offer ocean view rooms throughout the Hawaiian Islands. And more good news. Haddon has available $499 airfare via United Airlines for independent Hawaii Your Way vacations. Remember, Haddon only uses first class and deluxe hotels. United Airlines schedule service and provides all the extras that Haddon is famous for. It's all explained in Haddon's preview, and it's yours for the asking. In Pennsylvania, call 215-WA3-6663. In New Jersey, 609-795-5550. Haddon Travel.
Well, in the early chapters of this one, the story has been pitching. The California Angels got a 1-out single from Carew in the opening inning, then with 2 down, Lynn walked. And that's the nearest thing either team has had that could be counted as a threat so far. The Angels went out 1-2-3 in the second against Sutton. In the first inning, Zahn set the Brewers down 1-2-3, got the first batters in the second, then hit Ben Ogilvie with a changeup pitch. And Ogilvie was left at first as Money popped to the third baseman to Sensei. Let's pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
This is the voice of Philadelphia, 1210 WCAU AM, Philadelphia.
Bob Boone leading it off for the Californians, and he takes a fastball outside from Don Sutton, ball one. Boone with 1 hit in 5 in the 2 games so far. Stands about midway of the batter's box. Right-handed it takes. It is a breaking ball over, 1-1. Outfield plays him straight up, and the infield back. Sutton deals again, and Boone looks at a ball wide. That was the fastball, 2-1. If there's a game tomorrow, it'll be Moose Haas for Milwaukee, Ken Forsch for California. Now the motion, the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a bounding ball to third baseman Molitor. Over to Cooper. He got him. 1 up and 1 down. The last 5 have gone down in a row. 4 on ground balls and 1 on a strikeout. Here's the top of the batting order now, Brian Downing. One-time catcher turned left fielder. Open stance hitter, and they're waiting on Don Sutton, and the right-hander delivers. And Downing looks at a strike. He fouled to the first baseman, Cooper, his only trip in this game. Sutton deals again. Downing cuts the bounding ball to third. It passed Molitor. It'll be a foul ball. Just foul. Molitor made a diving effort over to the bag, and it eluded him. Al Clark, the umpire, right on top of that play. He was back of the bag at third, and he gave the foul sign.
Ernie, poor Al almost got turned around there. He almost gave the sign the wrong way, it looked like.
That's tough when you got the ball coming at you, and you know you've got to make a decision and make a signal, too. Strike 2, the count on Downing. 1 out, nobody on, no score, 3rd inning. Here's a pitch, and he backed him up with 1 under the chin. So far, we've had the 1 inspection of the baseball used by Mr. Sutton. So things have gone along rather quietly so far. The bats have been quiet, and so has everything else. Here's a chopper hit on the ground to third. Molitor has the hop, guns it to Cooper. There are 2 down. Here comes a man with the only hit of the game, Rod Carew. Well, if you'd go over for a visit to the California dugout before the game, you would see Mr. Carew with all his camera equipment set up there on the tripod and shooting various shots with the various lenses. He is a very avid cameraman. 1 hit in the series. He got it his last time up. And he swings and pops a foul off at third. It'll be over into the seats. And a gentleman from Racine will put that one on the mantle. What a beautiful, bright, sunshiny day we've got here in Milwaukee. And a tight ball game right now, 0-0 in the 3rd. Carew looks at a wide one. 1-1 on Rod. Very relaxed-looking hitter up there at the plate. Here's the 1-1 pitch to him. He swings, and it's another foul out of play. This one back at third. Carew sometimes talks. He'll be talking to the catcher or the umpire, even when the pitch is on the way. Waiting on a 1-2 delivery. 2 out, nobody on. The game scoreless. Sutton taking his time. Winds and deals. Here's a fly ball hit the center, backing up is Thomas. Now he comes in a step. He has it. And they go down 1, 2, 3 in the Angels' 3rd. At the end of 2.5, it is still scoreless.
I just had this fancy radio put in my Honda. But recently, I saw a Honda Civic hatchback that had a whole band in it. A young couple owned the Honda, and inside it, along with them, I counted 11 different musical instruments. Guitars, fiddles, banjos, even a washboard. They played folk music and were touring. So I said, do you have enough room in that Civic of yours? They said, yep. Well, do you know Honda makes other Civics? Yep. Have you seen the Honda Civic 4-door sedan? Yep. It has a trunk, I said. Yep. Then how about a Honda Civic wagon? It has all the room you could want and rides as comfortably as a passenger car. Yep. Then they went on to say they were expanding their band and would probably get a civic wagon. I smiled and said, I guess you folks could call it a bandwagon. Nope.
We make it simple.
Okay, you called to play TV Mystery Face.
Yes, we did.
For $1 million, turn on your TV and identify today's TV Mystery Face.
Right. Doris, who is it?
Oh, the TV's on the fritz.
It's some guy named Fritz.
Call us when you get a Quasar.
And enough of that old TV. Get in front of a new Quasar. Incredible picture, some sets with 134 channels. Ready for cable and stereo. Nobody offers you more than Quasar. For quality and dependability, shouldn't you have a Quasar?
Two starting pitchers rocking along, and this one no score going into the third. The Brewers come to bat with Charlie Moore. Get the latest results every weekend on Sports Central USA. Win Elliott, Jim Hunter, and Howard David know the score on most of these CBS stations. Charlie Moore, the right fielder, converted from catching. Been one of the most effective hitters in the first two games in this series for the Brewers. He's had 3 singles in 6 trips. He's a batter who likes the ball in tight on him, where he can pull it. Opens up his stance just slightly. Jeff Zahn, the left-hander, deals, and there's a cut and a miss on an outside curve. Strike one. Zahn using a great variety of speeds in his pitching performance so far. Trying to keep those big Milwaukee hitters off balance. Now the left-hander deals again. There's a foul ball hit out of play down on the ground toward the first base. He just got a piece of that when he again swung too early, and it slithered off the end of the bat. 1 hit in the game. It belongs to Rod Carew. Brewers have had a runner. Ogilvy was hit by a pitch with 2 out in the second inning, but he got no farther than the first base. So it's quite a duel between Zahn and Sutton. Now the windup by Zahn. He pitches. Here's a bounding ball up the middle. Through for a base hit. Moore was able to handle the breaking pitch that time. He got it past the mound on a ground smash, and it got through for a single, the first Brewer hit. Jim Gatner coming to bat. Jim injured in the final week of the regular campaign, but he's back in action now. 0 for 7 for Gatner, left-hander against the left-hander. Batting in the number 9 spot. They've got DeCincy close at third base. And Gatner takes a wide one, low and away, ball one on Jim. The pitcher is still in the sun, but right after the end of the mound, the shadows fall between the mound and the plate. So the ball comes out of the sun through those shadows toward the hitter. Here's a strike on the outside corner. He ran up as if the bunt didn't offer, and the breaking ball got in above the knees. 1-1. Hitters do not like those shadows. All of home plate now is in the shade. Here's the set by Zahn. He holds it. There's a little swing, and the pop fly hit the Foley at short. He gloves it, and back to first goes Charlie Moore. Got that ball down on the handle of the bat. He might have broken his bat. 1 on, 1 out, no score, and the top of the batting order up for the Brewers, Paul Molitor. They'll stay in a little bit on Paul. He flied to left his first trip. Forecast for the weather here tomorrow calls for cloudy skies and showers, and maybe some thunderstorms. And it'll be in the mid-60s. Go to first over to Carew, and back in plenty of time with Charlie Moore. Hanson, the first base coach, Ron Hanson, the former Baltimore infielder, plus a few other clubs, and Harry Warner coaches at third. No score. We're in the third inning. The Brewers at bat at County Stadium, and there's a hit and run with a foul hit out of play off the bat of Molitor, back onto the screen. What Sal Bando was saying to Denny Matthews in Denny's pregame interview with Sal, that the Brewers are in a position where they have to make something happen, especially with the top of the batting order. set the table for those big hitters in the middle. Get the runners moving. Now the strike one delivery. Swinging a bounding ball to third to Sensei. Goes to second to Gritch for one. Relay to Carew, and it is an Angel double play. No runs, one hit, no errors, and nobody left. And at the end of 3, California nothing, Milwaukee nothing.
Party planning. We got your order for petunias, orchids, assortments.
It's a sort
Violins, fellas.
My wedding reception 2 weeks ago.
Well,
hey, don't Artran?
Sure. Here. Trans.
Oh, no. Artran. It's a company that rents.
What do you want these garden hoses?
It's not hose.
It's terrible handwriting.
I have a business if she doesn't have a Jartran.
Married? No, Pearl. Planning.
I didn't order a musician.
Jazz?
Flower. Any Jartran truck.
Rentals. Supplies, so ask for details.
I put in CBS TV.
Totally. Square peg, square peg, square peg.
We're the straightest day. The high school scene. People laugh at us on their TV screen.
Square peg, square peg, square peg.
Monday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain on CBS TV.
Square peg.
Scoreless tie, 4th inning, County Stadium, Milwaukee. Reggie Jackson, Fred Lynn, and Don Avila, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in Gene Mock's batting order, will be facing the Milwaukee right-hander Don Sutton. Sutton, as a Brewer, finished with a 4-1 record in 7 games, and as you know earlier, in most of the year, had worked for the Houston Astros, where he was 13 wins and 8 defeats. Reggie Jackson at the plate. He's had 1 hit in the series, that home run. A tremendous home run to deep center field at Anaheim. He struck out the first time up in this one. And Sutton goes into action and delivers. Reggie takes a strike on the outside corner. Sutton starts him up with a fastball. Don checks his sign with Simmons and goes to work again. The strike. Generally, pitches like to jam Jackson as much as they can, although some have success pitching him outside. Now the left-handed batter digs in. No score. We're in the 4th inning. Sutton on the mound. Jackson at the plate. And he takes a wide one, low and outside with a fastball from Sutton. First start in the championship series in the American League for Sutton, but he's appeared 4 times in the National League. Reggie leaning and waiting. It is a 1-2 count on him. No score, 4th inning. Sutton goes into motion. Jackson takes a high, slow pitch, and the count evens at 2-2. Outfield deep, straight away. The infield back all the way around on Reggie Jackson. Fred Lynn waiting on deck. Well, you got left-hand hitters back-to-back here against the right-hander Sutton in the scoreless 4th inning. Jackson leaning and waiting on a 2-2 delivery. And he takes a strike. Struck him out. He does not say anything. He stalks away toward the Angel dugout after looking at a fastball in the outside corner. 3 strikeouts for Sutton. He's victimized Reggie Jackson twice. Here's Fred Lynn. Fred drew a walk. His only time at the plate. So he does not have an official trip yet. Graceful left-hand hitter. Takes, and it is a ball low and outside. Ball 1. Outfield deep. Infield is back except for Molitor, the third baseman, in close. There's a high, hard one outside. Well, that's 6 pitches that Lynn has looked at now in his 2 turns at bat, and not anything good enough to swing at. Let's see what Sutton will give him now. He's behind on him 2-0. And he fires a curve in just above the knees. Here's the windup by Don. The pitch on the way. And it is just off the corner. 3-1 the count on him. Fred resisted the temptation to cut it, that one. Sutton looking back at the scoreboard, now back at his defensive alignment. They're straight up, the infield deep. No score. We're in the 4th inning at County Stadium. Here's the pitch. Swung on, line shot, base hit over second base. Almost hit the bag. And Lynn continues to hit the ball effectively here in this series. That is the 2nd hit off Sutton. Now, the first one came off the bat of Carew with 1 out in the 1st inning. Don had set down 8 in a row. Last man to get on base was the man who's over there now, Fred Lynn. He had walked with 2 out of the 1st inning, then everybody else went out, and then Lynn singles. There's a line shot by Baylor to 3rd. Glove by Molitor, throw to 1st, double play. Good play by Molitor on the line drive up the bat of Baylor. And the side retired. No runs for the Angels. 1 hit. No errors. And nobody left on base. We go to the last half of the 4th inning. The game is still scoreless.
You gotta reach deep inside.
We've all felt it.
Come on, bring out that pride.
The challenge to make every effort count in all we do to bring out the best.
Bring out your best. Bring out your best. Bring out your best.
The challenge for us was to brew a light beer worthy of the king of beers. One with a clean, distinctive taste. Budweiser Light lived up to the challenge.
Bring out your best. Budweiser Light. Bring out your best. Budweiser Light.
To brew Budweiser Light, it took time, patience, and a commitment to quality. But then, the best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it.
Budweiser Light.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
The average car may be getting smaller, but the average American is getting taller. That's why the small, efficient Buick Skyhawk doesn't forget Buick's biggest fans. With an optional 1.8-liter engine, it offers an EPA estimated MPG of 28. Use estimated MPG for comparisons. Actual mileage may be different. But inside, there's luxury and room for even those with above-average dimensions. The 1983 Buick Skyhawk. Like a lot of people, you'll fit right in.
No score, the 4th inning, Milwaukee batting, and Robin Yount, who had 3 for 5 off Jeff Zahn during the regular season, will bat here in the 4th. The first time up, Zahn induced him to pop to Carew at first base. He's 0 for 1. Well, tonight at 8:07 Eastern Time, Atlanta versus St. Louis. Jack Buck and Jerry Coleman will be at the mic. We'll be tuned in for that one. The Cardinals lead those Braves in the National League Championship Series 1 victory to none as they beat the Braves in their opening game 7-0. Well, here's Robin at the plate. No score. Zahn on the mound for California, and Yount takes a strike on the outside corner. Zahn chipping off a piece of that outside of the plate. No runs, 2 hits for California, no runs, and 1 hit for Milwaukee. It's been a brilliant pitching duel so far here in the first half of the game. Here's a pitch that's outside, just about the same spot, but a little wide, and the count on Yount is 1-1. Another testimonial to weightlifting, Robin Yount. He has strengthened himself. Here's a curveball in too close, 2-1 the count on him. Now the first baseman completely in the shade, the right fielder's in the shade, all of home plate is in shadow. Zahn looking in to get his sign from Bob Boone. The veteran catcher works again, and Yount takes a high fastball, 3-1. Now, Denny, we've not seen the pitches behind many times in this game.
Ernie, just a masterful job by Zahn and Sutton of working ahead of the hitters, changing speeds, getting the breaking balls over. They're just doing an outstanding job, both pitchers on very, very tough lineups.
Here's the motion, the pitch on the way. Yump fouls it away in the dirt. Not the only man that Don Sutton got behind on was Lynn. He was trying to sort of pitch around him, walked him once, and then got behind and gave up a single. Everybody else has been pretty much ahead on.
Well, one thing about pitching to these lineups, a pitcher will not throw too many 3-0, 3-1 pitches to this lineup. Lineups like these, he won't be around long enough to do it.
Absolutely. There's one inside, and the Yump gets a walk. It's the first walk for the Brewers. They put a man on, hit by a pitch, but that's their first walk, and they've had a single. Single by Charlie Moore, but he was a race in a double play. Each team so far has come up with a double play. Here's Cooper. Cecil, the left-handed batting first baseman, stepping in now. Infield and double play depth on him. One on, nobody down. It's no score in the fourth inning, and he takes a breaking ball low and outside. Cooper had a double in the first game in Anaheim, but they stopped him completely in the second game there, so he has not lived up to his hitting potential yet. Now the set, the pitch, he takes the ball wide. It's 2-0. The count on Coop, and Bob Boone wants to count them. So the plate has begun to move around a little bit on the California left-hander, Jeff Zahn. The kind of a game you just sort of expect something to explode any time.
Like sitting on a time bomb. And it's amazing how aggressive hitters can be with a count 2-1, 2-0, 3-0.
Here's a pitch to Cooper. He taps one foul. It hit him on the foot and then bounces out in front. 2-1, the count on Coop.
Ernie, we've already seen how tentative hitters can be when the pitcher has the advantage in the count just in this game in the first 4 innings.
Yeah, it does make a lot of difference. Alan Roth figured out a long time ago when he worked for Branch Rickey at Brooklyn that Pee Wee Reese hit a tremendous average when he had the count in his favor and vice versa. Here's a ball outside, 3-1. Man on first, nobody out, no score. Last half of the fourth inning, Milwaukee at bat. Don has not yet been in any real trouble. Now the left-hander sets and deals, and Cooper fouls it away right down below us. 3-2 to count on him. They'll have Carew hold on the bag over there with Robin Young. It's been a pitcher's game so far, no question about it. Now Cooper, that open stance left-hand hitter waiting. Yount draws a throw, head first slide, gets him back safely. No damage.
Well, what do you do, Ernie? Do you send the runner here? Does Harvey Keene still want to try to make something happen?
Well, I think I would. Cooper is not often a strikeout victim. He usually gets a piece of the ball. Yount's a good base runner. There's another throw over there.
And Zahn, not known as a strikeout pitcher.
Absolutely. So we will see what Mr. Keene will do. Here's the set. The runner goes. The pitch is fouled away. Well, he sent him that time, but he's got to send him back. No runs, 2 hits for California. No runs, 1 hit for Milwaukee. No errors on either side. Third game of the series. It could be the final game of the series. California took the 2, played out in Anaheim. Here's the set now. Let's see if he goes again. There's a throw to first. He's back.
Ernie, the other side of the coin, running against the California Angels. They're running on the toughest catcher to steal against in all of baseball, Mr. Bob Boone.
Yep, Tommy Morgan worked on that very hard in spring training. Got his pitches to shorten their set positions. Worked with Boone a lot. It paid off. There goes the runner. The pitch is swung on. There's a drive to right. That's in the corner, and it is deep off the wall. Here comes Robin Yount around third. He's coming home. He scores. Milwaukee leads on the double by Cooper. Here comes Gene Mock out. Milwaukee gets on the board first. A walk to Yount, a double by Cooper. Gene Mock is now at the mound. Bob Boone's out there with him. And they're conversing with the California left-hander Jeff Zahn. The big right-hander throwing in the bullpen. And they've got somebody out there. I think that's Witt, isn't it? Mike Witt, the big tall right-hander. Yep. They're listening just in case, and Milwaukee has the lead, 1-0. And this big crowd loves it. Here comes Simmons, and he will confer with the third base coach, Harry Warner. So Cooper gets his second hit, his second double of the series. And this one drives home a run. Here's Simmons. He has fouled to first, his only time at bat. Left-hander Zahn ready to go to work. And Ted hits a line drive up the middle. Here comes Cooper around third. He's going to be held up as Lynn fires the ball in. It's cut off by Carew at the mound. Runners at first and third. Lynn charges the ball. He's got a good arm. Harry Warner, the third base coach, holds Cooper at third on the single. But the Brewers have something brewing here in County Stadium. They scored a run. They've got runners at first and third. Nobody down, and Thomas at the plate.
Ernie, Ted Simmons hit a pretty good pitch. You can't say the same for Cecil Cooper because the pitch that Cecil Cooper hit for the double into the right field corner was a breaking ball up. You know that Zahn did not want to get that curveball there. But this pitch to Ted Simmons was a breaking ball down. Ted Simmons went right down and got it and drilled it right back through the middle.
Now, this is a very crucial part of the ball game. The Milwaukee's have scored. They lead 1-0. Thomas at the plate. Nobody down. Runners at first and third. He struck out the first script. And he fouls it away. Got a pitch on the hand. One strike on the big right-hand batting center fielder, Gorman Thomas. They've got the infield and double play depth for the Angels. Outfield is deep to left on Gorman. 1-0. Milwaukee takes the lead. It's the fourth inning. Nobody out. 2 men on. Fastball high to Gorman. 1-1. That's the first run either one of these teams has scored since the fifth inning of the second game. 1-1. They count on Gorman Thomas. Here it comes. He takes him too close. That was a fastball under the hand. 2 balls and a strike. Man on first, man on third. Nobody out. Milwaukee has scored a run to take the lead 1-0. Walk, a double, and a single. Getting that run home. Thomas digs in again. Zahn looks him over. Cooper at third. Simmons at first. There's a high fly ball hit the center field. Lynn has plenty of room. It's deep, though. He makes the catch. Here's the tag. Cooper coming home. He'll make it easily for run number 2, and Milwaukee has a 2-0 lead. It's a sacrifice fly off the bat of Gorman Thomas. Simmons holds it first. Is 1 out. 2-0 Milwaukee. Will keep their infield and double play depth, and now it'll be Ben Ogilvy to come to bat. Time called. I think there's a spectator on the field. He came out of the bleacher area in left center and is being escorted off. 2-0. Milwaukee Brewers take the lead here in the fourth inning. They've got a man out and a man out. Ogilvy hit by the pitch the first time he came up. First game in which the Brewers have jumped out in front and scored the first time. field will be to right on Ben Ogilvy. Simmons at first base, and Ben takes a breaking ball on the outside corner for a strike. Simmons is no base running threat. But Carew will hold on the bag. That'll open up a gap between Rodney and the second baseman, Bobby Grich. One of the advantages of being a left-hand hitter. Swinging a bounding ball right through that gap. Simmons goes to second. He's starting to third. Here comes the throw to third from Jackson. He is safe at third on the single by Ogilvy. At first and third for the Brewers. One man down. They lead 2-0, and Don Money will be the batter. That was a bounding ball between Grich and Carew and on into right field. First time up, Money popped to the third baseman, DeCinces. Angels stay in double play depth against the veteran right-hand hitter. Don looking down to Harry Warner, the third base coach, gets back into the batter's box. 2-0 Milwaukee, fourth inning. They are threatening to add to that 2-0 advantage. There's one man down. Here's the set by Zahn. The pitch is swung on. There's a fly ball hit to left field, medium depth. Downing is under it, waiting, makes the catch. Here's the tag by Simmons. Here's the throw to Boone, not in time. The run scores, 3-0 Milwaukee. And Ogilvy takes second on the throw to the plate. A poor throw by Downing, a high throw, could not be cut off by DeCinces, the cutoff man between third and home, and Ogilvy scrapes on down to second base. The run scores 3-0 Milwaukee.
Ernie Bryan Downing did not really set up on that fly ball the way he would have liked. And that caused the high throw, and really, Bryan has done just an outstanding job for a converted catcher playing the outfield, but on that play, his footwork wasn't quite what it should have been. Tried to make a throw to home plate. He really didn't back off on the ball the way he should have. And the result was the high throw and the run.
And a 3-0 lead for the home team, the Brewers. And Gene Mock has gone to the mound. He gave a very high sign, so to speak. He held his hand high above his head. I think that probably means Witt, who is the taller of the two. They're both big guys, Goats and Witt. So we'll see one of the right-handers come in and take over. That means Curtin Slazan, who pitched a very strong first 3 innings and then ran into the Milwaukee buzzsaw here in the fourth on a walk to Yount. A double by Cooper got him home. He took third on a single by Simmons. A sacrifice by Thomas scored Cooper. And then Ogilvy, single to right. Simmons took third. And Money had a sacrifice fly to get him home. And while we get a new pitcher wheeled in here, let's pause for this.
Weekends, there's a wealth of good listening on CBS Radio. Saturday correspondent Fred Graham looks at the law and you.
22-year-old Mike Witt is now pitching for the California Angels. Mike at 6'7", a 185-pounder, so he is tall and lean. Mike's record during the regular year was 8-6. His earned run average was 3.51. In 180 innings, he allowed just 177 hits, 85 strikeouts, and 47 walks. So Jeff Zahn was knocked out the second time through the Brewer lineup. Proved to be his undoing. So Mike Witt now will try to pick up the pieces, and here again is Ernie.
All right, it'll be Charlie Moore, Denny, to face him, and the Milwaukee's have Ben Ogilvy at second base with 2 down. They've got a 3-0 lead as Zahn is headed for the showers, and the very tall right-hander Witt takes over. He sets and holds it at the belt and delivers, and Moore takes the ball outside. Moore has 4 hits, including 1 in this game, in the 3-game set. Witt ready again now, sets and deals, and Moore fouls it away. It'll be back on the screen. 1-1 on Charlie. Witt is a native Californian born in Fullerton and just reached his 22nd birthday of the 20th of August. Last year, that abbreviated year because of the baseball strike, was his first year with the California Angels. Here's the set, and he pitches, and it is a ball outside from the tall right-hander. He is 6'7" and weighs 185. He's relieving Jeff Zahn, the starting left-hander. Ogilvy off second. More weights. The pitch is swung on and fouled away. Hit that one right down in the dirt back of the plate. 2-2 on Charlie Moore. Each of these teams has a converted catcher playing the outfield. Downing in left for the Angels. Moore in right for Milwaukee. Yankees used to do that all the time. Remember when they catchers? Yogi Berra, Blanchard, Elston Howard. Move them around. Here's the set now. The 2-2 pitch from Witt. Moore swings and misses. The fastball got him, and the inning is over. But it's been a productive inning for the Milwaukee Brewers. They get 3 runs on the 3 hits. There were no errors. 1 man left on base. And at the end of 4 in Milwaukee, the Brewers 3, the Angels nothing.
This fall from Motorcraft. Get up to $9.50 in refunds on some of the highest quality automotive products you can buy for any make of car. Save up to $4 on Motorcraft spark plugs and $1 on Motorcraft oil and air filters. Save $1.50 on 5 quarts of Motorcraft oil. Plus, get $2 in bonus refunds on qualifying purchases. See your Motorcraft retailer for details. Now to November 30th. Motorcraft automotive products from Ford for the future of your car. For sure.
Mr. Adams, you're the hardware expert. I need a caulk I can depend on.
Well, Tom, when it comes to caulks, fillers, and adhesives, I recommend DAP.
I've heard of DAP.
Most people have. DAP products are easy to use and last for years. DAP is the name professionals trust most in caulks, fillers, and adhesives.
Sounds great.
Yes, when you want products that are easy to use and last for years, insist on DAP, the most trusted name in caulks, fillers, and adhesives. DAP.
It's a hit with every baseball fan, the 1982 World Series. Hi, everybody, I'm Vin Scully, and again this year we'll bring you CBS Radio sports coverage of every game. I'll call the play-by-play with Sparky Anderson at my side for analysis in color. Win Elliott has pre- and post-game highlights. The World Series starts Tuesday, October 12th, 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:10 Central, 5:10 Pacific, on most of the CBS Radio Network stations. Hear it here.
Milwaukee in front. They picked up 3 in the 4th. They lead the visitors, the California Angels, 3-0, with the Californians coming to bat in the 5th inning. And it will be Doug DeCinces, Bobby Grich, and Tim Foley to test the right-hand slants of Don Sutton. Sutton so far has held off the Angels with 2 hits, a single by Carew and a single by Lynn. The only other runner has been Fred Lynn, who drew a base on balls. Don's been helped by a double play started by Molitor. Now we will have an inspection of the baseball again by Rich Garcia. This is his second one, and he keeps this one in play. DeCinces bounced to shortstop his only time at bat. Close stance, right-hand batter against the right-hander Don Sutton. 5th inning, getting started in Milwaukee, and DeCinces drives one up the middle. A base hit. He greeted that first pitch with a line shot through the middle. Man on, nobody down. That is hit number 3 by Milwaukee, and here comes Bobby Grich. Bobby, another right-hand hitter who uses all the field. And he can be a power hitter when he turns it loose. He stands deep with his feet close together, the infield and double play depth. Grich swings and misses. That was a breaking ball. Now, all the inner grass of the infield is in the shade. There is one little spot of sunshine over on the left side, but most all of it's in the shade. Now, the hitters will now have a little better background. It is sunny in the outfield. There's a pitch low, and the count even on Grich at 1-1. 3 runs, 4 hits for Milwaukee. No runs, 3 hits for California. Sutton deals. Grich takes strike on the outside corner. He nipped it off with a fastball. 1-2. Cooper trying to keep that runner. DeCinces close at first base. Doug edges off about 4 or 5 feet. Lengthens his lead. Here's the set by Sutton at the mound. The 1-2 pitch. Grich swings and misses. He struck him out. That's the 4th strikeout for Sutton. comes Tim Foley. Right-hand batting shortstop. He chokes that bat. They've got Mallet in close at third now. Cooper's still holding on the bag with the runner to Sensei. Infield up halfway out around second base, and Foley hits a fly ball foul. It'll be in the seats over on the first base side. Wind seems to be more of a crosswind now than it was early. It was, for a while, blowing straight in from left. Foley cuts. Here's another foul in the first base seats. Two-strike count on him. Not much of a lead over there for Doug DeCinces. Sutton delivers. Foley fouls it off. That one on the screen behind the plate here at County Stadium. This stadium has existed since the old Boston Braves moved here back in 1953. And it was vacant for a while before baseball came back to Milwaukee. They've added seats in the last several years. Here's the set now, the strike two delivery. He pops it up, back of the plate. Here comes Simmons near the screen. He can't get it. Just out of his reach. Two strikes still on Foley. I think they renovated this park right before the All-Star game, didn't they? I think that's when they added the upper deck, parts of it.
Ernie, you were talking about the old Milwaukee Braves, and one of the old Braves will throw out the first ball here tomorrow if there is a fourth game, and that would be former Milwaukee Braves shortstop Johnny Logan.
Oh, yes, sir. I was talking to Johnny before the ball game. He's looking forward to that. Here's the strike two delivery now. And Foley takes a high one for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Then I got a haircut. My wife got a new hairdo and bought a new dress. They've got to have that game now. Foley waits on a 1-2 delivery. Sutton deals. There's a swing and a foul in the dirt. Simmons claims he caught it and dropped it. He tagged Foley, but Rich Garcia says no, he fouled it. Foley stays alive.
Ernie, when Tim Foley went out to get his bat, Don Sutton picked it up, and Sutton inspected Foley's bat.
That's a switch for you, isn't it? Waiting on another 1-2 delivery. Tim Foley swings and fouls one back.
I guess Don figured that they've been inspecting the balls that he's been throwing for so long that he'd take a look and see what the hitters are using against him.
Oh, turnabout's fair play.
That's right.
Charlie Dressen, the late manager in the major leagues, never liked for his players to pick up a batter, catcher's mask, and help out the opposition. He said, let them use their own energy. Here's a pitch. Swung on and fouled away again. Back of the plate. He's hanging tough. Milwaukee erupted for 3 in the 4th inning. They've got a 3-0 lead now. The Californians are batting in their 5th inning. They've got a man on and the man out against Sutton. Jeff Zahn has been knocked from the mound by the Milwaukee bats, and Mike Witt came in to relieve him in that 4th inning. Here's the set by Sutton, and Foley swings and misses. Struck him out. There's a man who does not fan often, but he got him on a breaking ball in tight. The 5th strikeout for Sutton. Bob Boone, the catcher stepping in, the number 9 hitter. He grounded out the third baseman Molitor's only trip today. 3 runs, 4 hits for Milwaukee, no runs and 3 hits for the Angels. Man on and 2 down, and Boone hits a bounding ball to shortstop. Yount has it over to Gantner. They get the force out on DeCinces, and the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left. We go to the last half of the 5th inning in Milwaukee. The Brewers 3, the Angels nothing.
Olé!
Ferdinand and Isabella would have loved it. You will, too. It's the big Columbus Day sale at John Wanamaker. Your perfect opportunity to invest in men's Famous Maker clothing at 20% off. That's 20% off men's three-piece suits of 100% wool, stripes, solids, plaids. 20% off Shetland wool sport coats at $119.90.
Radio, the Jockey Club Gold Cup. At a special time tomorrow afternoon, 5:25 Eastern, 4:25 Central, and 2:25 Pacific. You know that Eastern always outscores those other two zones. It never fails. Well, it is a 3-0 lead now for Milwaukee. And to bring us the rest of the action, the voice of the Royals, Denny Matthews.
Thank you, Ernie Harwell. Jim Gantner up there, and the first pitch from Mike Witt is high for a ball. Jim Gantner popped out to the shortstop his first time up. 3-0 Brewers. Fastball for a strike, and it's 1-1. Jim Gantner is a native of this state. He was born in Eden, Wisconsin. Fouled into the upper deck back to third, and the count on Gantner is 1-2. Jim Gantner became a regular at second base for the Brewers last year when Paul Molitor moved to the outfield. Now Paul is the Brewers' third baseman. Pop fouled out of play into the crowd, and it's still 1-2 on Jim Gantner. Jim went to the University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh. By gosh. In fact, he took that college to the NAIA World Series twice. Takes a look at a pitch that's low and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gantner, 28 years old. Mike Witt's 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. He got him with a breaking ball, and Gantner knew it. So Witt has faced 2 men. He has struck out 2. And that will bring up Paul Molitor. Paul flied out to left in the first. He grounded into a double play in the third. Molitor looking for his 4th hit in this series. Paul now 3 for 10. Mike Witt's pitch. Ground ball to the second baseman. Bobby Gritch scoops it up, flips to first in time. 2 up, 2 down in the Brewer 5th inning. And now Robin Yount. Yount started that 3-run Milwaukee 4th by drawing a base on balls. The only walk surrendered by Jeff Zahn. And it cost him dearly. The Brewers had scored 3 runs by the time the inning was over. And when the inning ended, why, Zahn was back in the Angel clubhouse. Robin has 2 hits in this series, and both of his hits are infield singles. Big curveball from Witt. 0-1 on Yount. The 6'7" right-hander brings it home, and it's low and outside, backhanded out of the dirt by Bob Boone. Count evened out at 1 ball and 1 strike. Base is empty, 2 out, 3-0 Milwaukee. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball through the middle. Gritch can't get it, a base hit. Robin Yount singles to center. And now Cecil Cooper. It was Cooper to put the Brewers on the board as he ripped a double into the right field corner, scoring Robin Yount. Cecil has 2 hits in the series. Both are doubles. The left-handed batter digging in. Coop has many of the mannerisms Rod Carew. Low and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Cooper checking with Harry Warner, the third base coach, to see if they'll put Yount in motion with a count 1-0. Yount was running when Cooper doubled into the right field corner. It was a 3-2 pitch, you'll recall. Good cut, and he fouled it off. Boy, what a cut he had. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Brewers have out hit the Angels 5-3. Ball game in the bottom of the 5th. Yount at first. Robin with a conservative lead at the moment. Mike Witt peeking over his shoulder to see where Robin is. He doesn't go, and Cooper, with an inside-out swing, rolls it foul outside third. And the count 1-2. Robin Yount became the first shortstop since his manager, Harvey Keene, to collect 200 hits in a season. Young finished with 210 hits. Harvey had 201 with the Tigers in 54. Cooper takes outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ted Simmons would be next if Cecil can prolong the Brewer inning. The outfield straight away. The stretch by Witt. The 2-2 pitch. The runner goes 2-2, but a swing and a miss. Down goes Cooper, and down go the Brewers. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. The Brewers now have stranded 3, and at the end of 5, Milwaukee 3, California nothing.
If you're considering marriage counseling but think you can't afford it, this message is for you. Family Service of Philadelphia, a private, non-profit agency, provides professional, accredited marriage counseling for people of all income levels. At Family Service, counseling is always affordable because fees are on a sliding scale. So don't let cost put you off any longer. The marriage you save may be your own. Call Family Service at 875-3300. That number again, 875-3300.
Before you look under the hood of a new car, look at how the hood fits. If you look at a Honda, you'll see the hood, doors, trunk, and hatch fit the body with close tolerances. That's Honda quality. And that's one reason why Hondas have traditionally retained a high resale value among the best in the industry. You only have to look at how the hood fits to understand that.
For over 100 years, we Americans have been fascinated with baseball. To each of us, it has a meaning all its own. Here is what baseball means to Lowell Cohn, the well-known San Francisco newspaper man. The entire meaning of baseball is time. Baseball is how we get even with those relentless seconds and minutes and hours of life. While the game is being played, time miraculously changes. Baseball fever. Catch it. It lasts forever.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
The Angels come to bat in the top of the 6th. Brian Downing, Rod Carew, and Reggie Jackson coming up against Don Sutton. 3-0 Milwaukee. The Brewers scoring 3 times in the bottom of the 4th. Downing is fouled out to the first baseman, and he's rolled out to third. Sutton's pitch is way upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. All 3 California hits have been singles. Downing had a notion held up, and the pitch found the strike zone, and the count evens out. 1 ball and 1 strike. The California hits. Rod Carew singled with 1 out in the first. Fred Lynn singled with 1 out in the 4th, and DeCinces started the 5th with a single. Downing swings and pops it up. Cecil Cooper into foul territory. Has room. He's got it. Brian Downing fouls out to Cecil Cooper. And you can hear the fans yelling "Coop" anytime Cecil does anything. Here's Rod Carew. Rod, as we mentioned, singled in the first, then he flied to center in the third.
Denny, that's the only fly ball that the outfielders have caught for Milwaukee, so Sutton really has them beating the ball in the dirt or popping up.
Let's see how he works to Carew in this at-bat. He starts him off with a pitch outside, ball 1. Sutton said the other day, my fastball isn't quite what it used to be. My curve maybe doesn't have as much bite, but I'm changing speeds much better. And he's sure shown that this afternoon. There is ball 2 to Rodney Carew, and the count 2-0. Reggie Jackson will follow. 2 old pros going at it here. Sutton to Carew, who shows bunt and takes a strike. And the count 2-1. Ernie, have you ever seen a better bunter than Rod Carew?
No, I don't think so. Phil Rosillo was a great one, but I think Rod's a little bit better.
2-1 pitch to Rod Carew is fouled away. Sutton had that pitch in on the hands, and it's 2-2. Rod is still bothered by that sore left wrist. And I think that was underlined when he struck out 3 times in Anaheim the other night. But Gene Mauch said he's my first baseman even with 1 hand. The 2-2 pitch is high, ball 3, 3-2. Sutton has walked only 1 man. That was back in the first. He walked Fred Lynn. And he's gone the distance with Carew, 3-2. Sutton rocks and pitches. And a bouncing ball to the first baseman. Kicks the bag for the out. 2 easy outs. And now Reggie Jackson. Reggie, a strikeout victim twice. Swinging in the first, called in the fourth.
And 2 of the 3 hits by the Angels have been from left-hand batters, Carew and Fred Lynn.
And both those base hits were solid hits to center. So Reggie bats with the bases empty and 2 out. And I'm sure that's Sutton's preference. Reggie up there with nobody on. Missed the outside corner, did Sutton. 1-0. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification on the CBS radio network.
This is the voice of Philadelphia. 1210 WCAU AM, Philadelphia.
1 ball, no strikes on Reggie Jackson, and he hammers away at a pitch and doesn't get it. And the count evens out at 1-1. The outfield, as you would expect, playing Reggie deep. The breeze continues to blow in from left. The 1-1 pitch. Line over. Right. Gantner went high in the air and just did miss pulling that ball down. So Jackson singles with 2 away, and up comes Fred Lynn. Lynn has walked off his single. And Fred now 6 out of 9 in the series. Lynn setting himself at the plate. Sutton checking with catcher Ted Simmons. Now the pitch to Lynn. Missed outside. 1 ball, no strikes. 3-0 Milwaukee. The Angels at bat in the top of the 6th. Brewers scored 3 in the 4th. Jackson a safe lead. Don Sutton set at the belt. Now the pitch. Good breaking ball. 1-1 to Fred Lynn. If the Brewers win, it will be Ken Forsch for the Angels tomorrow against Moose Haas. 1-1 to Lynn. Strike on the outside corner, 1-2. So advantage Don Sutton. Reggie Jackson takes his lead at first. Sutton's pitch to Lynn. Missed the outside corner at the knees, and it evens out at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ernie mentioned the weather forecast for tomorrow, calling for cloudy skies with showers and maybe even a few thunder showers. The temperature to be in the mid-60s. 2 balls, 2 strikes the pitch. High to Lynn, and it's 3-2, and now Reggie Jackson at first will be off and moving with the pitch. So Sutton taking a little walk behind the mound. Now Ted Simmons and Sutton get together, the stretch and the 3-2 pitch. There goes the runner, and a swing and a miss. Down goes Fred Lynn. For the Angels in the top of the 6th. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. California now stranded 4. We move to the bottom of the 6th. It remains Brewers 3, Angels nothing.
Delco Electronics presents the car radio of the future, the ETR.
What do you think of the ETR, sir?
Well, it's supposed to be a pretty nice movie for the whole family.
No.
The kids really seem to love the little creature.
You've apparently confused some movie or another with Delco Electronics ETR, which stands for Electronically Tuned Receiver.
Oh.
You've confused sci-fi with hi-fi, sir.
You mean you're not referring to any alien...
Well, if you're buying a new car, you want the latest in sound systems, not an alien object.
No,
you want a sound system that's up to the technology of the car.
You mean like the ETR?
That's right, packed with technology. Electronically locks in a radio station precisely.
Huh.
Since Delco Electronics built the electric drive system for the lunar rover the astronauts drove on the moon, they ought to be able to deal with your car radio.
I suppose. How can I check out this ETR?
For a closer encounter of the best kind...
I was afraid you were going to say something like that.
Drop into any GM dealer for a demonstration.
The
Saturday on CBS TV, George Burns is an old man.
Call me Papa Ross.
Robbie Benson is special.
Damn.
They're two of a kind. Alone, nobody wanted them.
Out of my way, Clara, before I drool on you.
But together, they challenged the world.
I didn't know you could drive. I can't.
George Burns and Robbie Benson in two great heartwarming performances that'll have you laughing and crying and cheering. Two of a kind. A world television premiere on the CBS Saturday Night Movies at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
Bottom of the sixth inning, and Ted Simmons, the switch-hitting catcher, will lead off for the Brewers. Simmons fouled out to the third baseman DeCinces in the second, singled and scored in the fourth. Ted with 3 hits now, 3 out of 10. All 3 of Simmons' hits have been singles. Mike Witt's first pitch is inside, ball 1. The wind, the delivery. Up too high, 2-0. Simmons up there left-handed against Mike Witt. Witt in relief of Jeff Zahn. Witt came on in the fourth inning. The 2-0 pitch. High pop foul, drifting into the crowd, back to third. 2 balls and 1 strike on Simmons. The Milwaukee runs have been scored by Yount, Cooper, and Simmons. RBIs to Cooper, Thomas, and Money. And 2 of the 3 RBIs coming on sacrifice flies, Thomas and Money. Cooper got Yount home with a double into the right field corner, and that's the game. The pitch to Simmons is popped up on the infield. Tim Foley calling for it, looking up into the bright blue sky, and makes the catch. Simmons pops to Foley. That will bring up Gorman Thomas. Just a gorgeous early fall day in Wisconsin. Temperature now in the 60s. Thomas, in addition to his fourth inning sacrifice fly, is struck out. Mike Witt's pitch. Breaking ball. And Gorman has to spin away. 1 ball and no strikes. Thomas looks rather menacing at the plate. He takes the pitch outside, and the count is 2-0. Gorman Thomas, 6'3", a 200-pounder. Gorman is his middle name. His first name is James. Swing and a miss, and the count 2-1. Brewers with a 3-0 lead. We're in the bottom of the 6th. 1 out, nobody on. The pitch to Thomas is belted to deep center, but Lynn to his right and back is there to make the catch, and there's 2 away. So Thomas is 0 for 2 in the ball game, and up comes Ben Ogilvie. Ben was hit by a pitch in the second, and he singled in the fourth.
Denny, this is a very important time for Mike Witt and the Angels, and he's done a good job so far coming on in the fourth inning. He's picked up 3 strikeouts. He's given up only a single. He's got to keep his ball club close. Keep him in the ball game. That's the role of the long man, and so far he's doing it very well.
The Angels still very much a part of this game, trailing as they are 3-0. Brewers have only out-hit California 5-4. Good fastball for a strike, and the count is 0-1. Then Ogilvie, tall, lean, left-handed hitter. The 0-1 pitch. Missed the outside corner, not by much. 1 ball and 1 strike. Then Ogilvie, 33 years old, takes outside, 2 balls and a strike. Ben just completing his 5th full year with the Brewers. Spent 4 years with the Tigers, and prior to that, 2.5 years with the Red Sox. Slings and hits a high pop foul. Doug DeCinces has room and makes the catch. And Mike Witt continues to roll along, 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 6th. So we played 6 at County Stadium, and the score, Brewers 3, California 0.
At Anheuser-Busch, we gave our brewmasters this challenge. Brew a light beer worthy of the king of beers. One with a clean, distinctive taste. Budweiser Light lives up to the challenge.
Bring out your best. Bring out your best. Bring out your best.
They brewed this beer with the best ingredients and with beechwood aging made famous by the king. You'll taste the best in Budweiser Light.
Bring out your best Budweiser Light. Bring out your best Budweiser Light.
To brew Budweiser Light, our brewmasters knew it would take time, patience, and skill. They knew the best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it.
Budweiser Light.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
For 80 years, Buick has had a love affair with the automobile, right down to today's state-of-the-art Century. With its very efficient form, it offers an EPA estimated MPG of 24. Use estimated MPG for comparisons. Actual mileage may be different. And in the best Buick tradition, Century has a remarkably luxurious passenger environment. 80 years of Buick went into the 83 Century. You see, Buick's love affair with the automobile isn't getting older. It's getting better.
Lead 3-0. The Angels come to bat in the top of the 7th. It'll be Don Baylor, Doug DeCinces, and Bobby Grich against Don Sutton. Well, special greetings from all of us at CBS Radio to those of you around the world listening to the playoffs on Armed Forces Radio. Don Baylor leading off. Don has grounded out and lined into a double play. Don Sutton's pitch up too high, 1 ball and no strikes. Don Baylor, the American League's most valuable player in 1979. 1-0 pitch, bouncing foul past the California dugout on the third base side, and it's 1-1 on Baylor. Don started his big league career with the Orioles. Spent 1 year in Oakland and has been with the Angels since 1977. Tremendously strong, and in his younger days, outstanding speed for a man his size, can still run. Sutton just missed the corner and the count 2-1. Baylor now 33 years old. Sutton has scattered 4 singles, never more than 1 hit in any inning. Up too high, ball 3, 3-1, so Don now in danger of walking his first man since way back in the first inning. Three balls, 1 strike on Don Baylor. Fouled back and out of play. Not so sure that pitch was a strike. Might have been a little bit high and inside, but Baylor liked the looks of it, fouled it off, and now the count is run full, 3-2. They shade Baylor toward left field. The Milwaukee outfield, 3-2 pitch. He did walk in with a pitch high and tight. So Baylor is on. That is how the 3-run Milwaukee 4th inning started, with the base on balls to Robin Yount. And they're starting to move around out in the Milwaukee Brewer bullpen. Here comes Doug DeCinces. Doug singled his last time up. He rolled to the shortstop back in the 2nd. Right-handed batter digs in. That's only the 2nd time in this game the Angels have placed their leadoff man on. High and outside, ball 1, so Sutton might be getting a little bit weary. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Brewers. No runs, 4 hits for California. The Brewers must win today to prolong the series. Simmons getting set to deliver the sign. Now Sutton throws, but time had been called by plate umpire Rich Garcia. Runner at first, nobody out. 3-0 Milwaukee. Sutton nodding yes to the sign. Here's the stretch. And the pitch to DeCinces, a little tap, and it came up and smacked him right on the side of the cheek. Doug DeCinces whacked a foul ball down on home plate, and it came up and really took a bite out of him. And down he goes, his head and his hands off to the right side of home plate, and The California trainer, along with their manager, Gene Mauch, and the two coaches standing alongside trying to be of assistance to DeSensei, who very angrily now slams his batting helmet down. Boy, that clipped him right alongside the nose, or perhaps on the right cheekbone, and DeSensei is perhaps cut.
That's Ned Burgett out there with him, and he's got a adhesive patch there. He's wiping off DeSensei's nose. You know, he's had his nose broken, I think, 5 times. And they said one time it was so bad that they almost had to put it together like a jigsaw puzzle. And he may have hurt that nose again.
That's what it looks like, Ernie. He has, for sure, a bloody nose. And just by the way he took his batting helmet and slammed it down, it was as if he knew what had happened. So maybe he has just gone for broken nose number 6. We certainly hope that is not the case. And now they're assisting Doug to his feet. I'm sure that they will give him time to see if he can pull himself back together and stay in the game, because trailing as the Angels are 3-0 here in the top of the 7th, they can ill afford to lose to Doug DeSensei. He's obviously a very prominent part of their offense.
He's been a great gutty player for them, and like you say, they don't want to sit him down unless they absolutely have to. Ned Burgett's still talking to him now. He's got his hands around his neck. Still looking at that nose. That's the problem.
It was a nasty deflection, Ernie. The ball was chopped down off home plate, and the ball came off the corner of home plate, and as Doug followed through, the ball just came right up and whacked him right upon the nose. And I know that just about everybody's been hit on the nose, accidentally or otherwise, and that's a terrible feeling. You have tears in your eyes, and your head spins around. It's no fun at all, and DeSensei going through that right now.
Gene Mauch's talking to him, and I guess they're deciding to keep him in. Here comes the bat boy with a bat. Doug's putting his batting helmet on, and he is walking slowly behind the catcher, Simmons, and it looks as if he's going to re-enter the batter's box and stay in the ball game. Ned Burgett wants to take one more look at him.
He still has a little cut on the outside of his nose, and whether or not that will take stitches after the game, we'll have to wait and see, but he's going to hang in there. The count on Doug is 1-1, but he takes a deep breath. Runner at first with nobody out. Activity now in the Milwaukee bullpen. Don Baylor at first. Here's Don Sutton getting ready. The 1-1 pitch to DeSensei, way high. 2 balls and a strike. Tonight at 8:07 p.m. Eastern Time, the Atlanta Braves and the St. Louis Cardinals. Second game of their series with Jack Buck and Jerry Coleman. Strike on the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Doug DeSensei. A left-hander, Bob McClure. And a right-hander might have been Dwight Bernard loosening out in the Milwaukee Brewers bullpen. Sutton issuing the leadoff walk to Don Baylor here in the 7th. 2 balls, 2 strikes on DeSensei. Struck him out. Doug with a half swing, but around he went. So that is one time at bat that Doug DeSensei will try to forget very quickly. Here is Bobby Grich. Sutton pulled the string on that pitch to DeSensei. It looked like the bottom dropped out of it. 1 on, 1 out, 3-0 Brewers. We're in the top of the 7th. The pitch to Bobby Grich right through there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Don Sutton now with 7 strikeouts in this game. He's walked 2. Has surrendered just 4 hits, all singles. Time called as Sutton delivers anyway. Second time in this inning that has happened, and Sutton is now unhappy. No balls and 1 strike on Bobby Grich. Second time that plate umpire Rich Garcia has called time just as Sutton was pitching. The 0-1 delivery to Gritch. Tried to go to right field and fouled it off into the crowd and out of play. Advantage Sutton, 0-2.
Denny, Sutton is right now pitching a game very much like he pitched against the Detroit Tigers. His second game in the American League on the 7th of September. He blanked them 4-0. He didn't walk anybody. He struck out 9, and he gave up 7 hits. The first game he pitched against Cleveland, he lost, and that was the second.
The runner goes from first, and Gritch hoists a high pop foul back into the crowd. So with the count 0-2 on Bob Gritch, and the Angels trailing 3-0 here in the top of the 7th. With 1 on and 1 out, the runner at first, Don Baylor, was off and running with that pitch, and Gritch fouled it off. Ernie, what a lift Don Sutton gave the Brewers last Sunday in Baltimore, and he's trying to pull them up by their bootstraps again today. Just barely missed the outside corner, did Sutton, and the count is now 1-2. Don Baylor a lead. Now Sutton checking with Ted Simmons. Steps off the pitching rubber very quickly. Baylor holding his lead, which is a conservative one. He doesn't go, and the pitch to Gritch is swung and missed. He strikes out, and that's 8 strikeouts for Don Sutton. 5 strikeouts in the last 3 innings. Here's Tim Foley. Foley grounded to shortstop in the 2nd, and then struck out in the 5th, and as Ernie said, that's headline news because Tim Foley is annually one of the toughest men in all of baseball to strike out. The pitch to Tim. High and inside, and down he goes. And Sutton ended up on one knee, and I think perhaps Don slipped a little bit. But Foley had to make a quick exit from the batter's box. Down he went as that pitch just kept following him up and in. 1 ball and no strikes on the California shortstop. Toss over to first, the runner back. This has been a rather lengthy half inning, and nobody's hit the ball yet. A walk and 2 strikeouts. Sutton is outside, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. The Brewers scoring all 3 of the runs in the 4th. 2 of those on scoring fly balls. The pitch to Tim Foley is swung and missed. 2 balls and 1 strike. Sutton fires over to first, and Don Baylor is back. The hitters really seem to be fighting the baseball at this point. It's late afternoon now. Only the left fielder is in bright sunshine, so it's apparently very tough on the hitters. A little squibber off the end of the bat, right to the first baseman Cooper. Steps on the bag to end the inning. No runs, no hits. A leadoff walk and a man left. We go now to the bottom of the 7th. Milwaukee 3, California 0.
This fall from Motorcraft. Get up to $9.50 in refunds on some of the highest quality automotive products you can buy for any make of car. Save up to $4 on Motorcraft spark plugs and $1 on Motorcraft oil and air filters. Save $1.50 on 5 quarts of Motorcraft oil. Plus, get $2 in bonus refunds on qualifying purchases. See your Motorcraft retailer for details now through November 30th. Motorcraft automotive products from Ford for the future of your car. For sure.
Spiffy apartment, Larry.
Well, I'm a today kind of guy.
Yes.
What'd say I spin a little wax?
Oh, that's a great idea.
Tiffany?
Yes, Larry.
It's your eyes. They're so...
Larry?
Yes, Tiffany.
It's your stereo.
Huh?
Call me when you get a Quasar.
Larry needs the Quasar Sound Stack. High-performance stereo system selected and matched for you. Some including the linear tracking turntable to assure accurate sound reproduction. Quasar! For quality and dependability, shouldn't you have a Quasar?
For an inside look at the stories in the sports world, CBS Radio has 2 daily shows which will interest you. Sports Time with Brent Musburger and Kurt Gowdy on sports. Brent is keeping a watchful eye on such issues as the NFL labor negotiations and the business of college athletics. Kurt serves up interviews with the big names in sports. Brent Musburger and Kurt Gowdy. Hear them here on most of these CBS stations. Well, the fans here at County Stadium singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game, enjoying their 7th inning stretch. and enjoying the home team as they lead the California Angels 3-0. The Angels leading this best 3 of 5 series, 2-0. Tremendous pitching by Don Sutton so far. Don Money will lead off. Don in the second popped out to Doug DeCinces, and then drove in a run with a sacrifice fly to left in the fourth. Mike Witt in relief of Jeff Zahn. Witt has been in there since the fourth inning. And Mike has allowed just one hit, a single by Robin Yount in the fifth. The hitters have really been struggling in the last 3 innings to see the ball. The entire playing field, except for an area in left, is now in the shadow of the upper deck. Late afternoon in Milwaukee. They have asked some fans in the right field bleachers to remove a banner which they had draped over the fence. And with that done, Mike Witt throws a breaking ball to Don Money, and it's outside. So we're underway in the bottom of the 7th. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Brewers. No runs, 4 singles for California. Breaking pitch missed, and it's 2-0. Witt will be looking at the lower part of the Brewer batting order. Money, Moore, and Gantner. The pitch. Low, 3-0. So the Brewers, in search of a couple of insurance runs. The 3-0 pitch to Don Money is a strike, 3-1. Signal given by Bob Boone, and Witt's 3-1 delivery. Strike 2, a fastball that hit the outside corner. The Brewers with 95 wins during the regular season. They were 48-34 here at County Stadium. Just checking the Angels' road record. The Angels won 41 and lost 40 away from Anaheim Stadium. Ball 4 to Don Money. Money draws a leadoff walk, and up comes Charlie Moore. That is only the second base runner allowed by Mike Witt. Charlie Moore has singled, and he has struck out. Charlie was the first man to face Witt, and Witt fanned him to end the fourth inning. Now we'll see how the Brewers play it. Charlie Moore took a long look at his third base coach, Harry Warner. Don Money with a pinch runner. Marshall Edwards, a reserve outfielder, running for Don. And Charlie Moore, not so sure of the signs, wanted to hear them verbally from his third base coach. Edwards at first. Nobody out. Bottom of the 7th. 3-0 Milwaukee. The stretch by Witt. Moore around a bunt. Gets the bunt down. Witt looked at second. Now has the play at first. And with Gritch taking the throw, it'll be a sacrifice from Witt to Gritch. 1-4. So Marshall Edwards at second base. And up comes Jim Gantner. Jim, nothing for 2. Popped to shortstop in the 3rd. Called out on strikes in the 5th. Marshall Edwards, by running for Don Money, becomes the Brewers' designated hitter. He's at second, 1 away. Jim Gantner, the number 9 hitter at the plate. Mike Witt's pitch. There's a high fly ball into right center field. Fred Lynn with a long run, calling for it. Makes the catch. Edwards tags at second, heads for third. The throw cut off by Foley. Gantner flies to Lynn. Runner at third, 2 away, and here comes Paul Molitor. Paul, who has 3 hits in the series, is 0 for 3 in this contest. Mike Witt trying to pitch around the leadoff walk. The Brewers looking for one more run. Milwaukee leading 3-0, bottom of the 7th. The pitch. Curveball is high, 1 ball and no strikes. Witt working from the stretch with that runner at 3rd and 2 out. Breaking ball, low and outside. And it's 2-0 to Paul Molitor. Dave Goltz and Andy Hassler working the California bullpen. 2-0 to Molitor. Mike Witt's pitch. Outside corner. Molitor not so sure, turns around and says something to plate umpire Rich Garcia. 2 balls and a strike. Big right-hander ready and delivers. Curveball, a little tap, and it's foul. Boone took a swipe at it with a bare hand. With the ball trickling foul off to the right of the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Molitor. So Edwards back to 3rd, and Molitor returns to the plate. If Game 4 of this series is necessary, it will be Ken Forsch pitching for California and Brian Moose Haas pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers. Forsch was 0-1 against the Brewers this year. Haas beat the Angels once. He was 1-0. Airtime tomorrow would be 12:50 p.m. Eastern Time. The 2-2 pitch, belted to deep left field. Back goes Brian Downing. Home run! Makes it 5-0 in favor of the Milwaukee Brewers as he homers into the seats in left, just above the 362-foot sign. That is his 2nd home run of the series. His first, of course, was the inside the park home run in Anaheim. Robin Yount takes outside. Robin has walked, singled, and popped out. So the Brewers get not 1, but 2 big insurance runs. Outside to Yount, and it's 2-0. The fans still roaring. They wanted Molitor to come out and tip the cap. Mike Witt's pitch to Yount. Inside a ball. And Bob Boone is going out to talk with his pitcher. The base on balls. A leadoff walk to Robin Yount in the 4th. And the Brewers scored 3 times. Here in the 7th, a leadoff walk to Don Money. And the Brewers have scored twice and are still at work. Ernie?
And a big blow by Molitor in a lot of ways, but one of the special ways, it means now that even a grand slam can't get the Angels tied. They are losing now 5-0.
Robin Yount digging in. Mike Witt getting ready. Here's his pitch. Right down the middle. Robin looking for his 4th hit in the series. Witt ready and pitches. Boy, he had a vicious cut at that pitch and fouled it back to the screen. Cecil Cooper in the on-deck circle. 3-2 on Robin Yount. The windup in the pitch. High and tight, ball 4. A base on balls to Robin Yount brings California manager Gene Mauch out of the dugout. And that might be all for the 6'7" right-hander. Mike Witt was pitching superb baseball, having allowed just 1 base runner since coming in the 4th inning. But here in the 7th, the leadoff walk to Don Money. 2 outs later, the home run by Paul Molitor. And now the base on balls to Robin Yount, and that is going to be all for Mike Witt. Left-hander Andy Hassler will be brought out of the California bullpen to face left-handed hitting Cecil Cooper. So the Brewers with 5 runs on 6 hits. California, meanwhile, the best that they have done against Don Sutton, 4 scattered singles. So while the new pitcher is being brought in from the bullpen, let's pause for this.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Andy Hassler, the big left-hander, comes in to take over now. He won 2 and lost 1 in the regular season. Had an earned run mark of 2.78. And he appeared in 54 games. Strictly a relief pitcher. Gentleman who has bounced around a bit. Started with California, went to Kansas City, then the Red Sox, and then to Boston and Pittsburgh, and back to California. And the home run by Molitor meant it's the first time that either team has scored after the 5th inning in any one of these 3 games. The 2-run homer making it a score of 5-0. But then after the walk to Molitor, when Mike Witt walked Robin Yomp, that was all that Gene Mauch wanted to see, and he gave him the hook. So Witt goes 3 innings, allows 1 run, 2 hits, walks 2, and strikes out 3. And it'll be a left-hand batter, Cooper, to test Hassler as the first Milwaukee batter.
All right, Ernie. Andy Hassler facing Cecil Cooper. Cecil is 1 out of 3. An RBI double back in the 4th inning. Otherwise, he has struck out twice, and he takes high and inside. The attendance figure here today at County Stadium, Milwaukee, 50,135. The official seating capacity for baseball, a little better than 53,000. Hassler with a good breaking pitch for a strike, and it's 1-1. Hassler, 30 years old. Andy with good size, 6'5", 220. Lives in Phoenix in the offseason, and he throws a breaking ball on the outside corner, and Cecil Cooper didn't like the call by the plate umpire. Robin Yount at first, 2 runs across here in the bottom of the 7th. It is 5-0 Milwaukee. The Brewers trying to stay alive. Way low and outside, and the count evens out at 2-2. Andy Hassler, who was originally a starter, owns a couple of lifetime one-hitters. The first one-hitter that he pitched, he lost. Jim Cott beat him. The second one-hitter came as a member of the Kansas City Royals in Cleveland, and he won that game 1-0. The 2-2 pitch, swung and missed. Down goes Cecil Cooper. The Brewers are gone, but they come up with 2 big runs on Molitor's 2-run homer. 2 runs on 1 hit and 1 man left. At the end of 7, Milwaukee 5, California nothing.
Introducing a full 5-passenger sedan with European design, but built right here in America. It's the all-new Alliance, and it's here now at Family AMC Jeep and Renault. Pricing starts at $55.95 plus freight, and the EPA highway mileage rating of 52 miles per gallon. Absolutely unbelievable, but true. The Escort, the Rabbit, the Honda Civic, they all seat 4, but the Alliance will seat 5, and I mean in comfort. What about performance, you ask? Will it move? You betcha. With fully independent suspension and electronic fuel-injected 1.4-liter engine, this new beauty literally flies by the competition. There are no hidden extra costs to be added on to this great little machine. At Family, they're dealing, and they've got them in stock right now. Shop the rest, then drive the best. The 1983 Renault Alliance at Family AMC Jeep and Renault. Just minutes from the expressway and I-95 in the fabulous South Philadelphia Auto Mall. Come on down.
Say there's no need to miss baseball's main event. The World Series starts Tuesday night, and you can enjoy the CBS Radio Sports live coverage wherever you are. Just take along your portable and follow the action. The World Series, something special from CBS Radio. Vin Scully calls the play-by-play. Sparky Anderson alongside. Win Elliott will have pre-game and post-game reports. That's the World Series beginning on Tuesday night, right here on CBS. The California Angels come up in the top of the 8th, and now the lights go on here at County Stadium. Bob Boone getting ready to face Don Sutton. Bob has grounded out twice. Sutton has scattered 4 singles. The pitch to Bob Boone is hit to left field. Back goes Ben Ogilvie at the wall and reaches up, and it's a home run. It just got over the glove, and in fact, I think they are arguing that a fan reached over and interfered with Ben Ogilvie. All the Brewers are out to protest. Ogilvie went up high and appeared to be ready to make a play. And the Brewers are just storming at the umpire out there.
Hit very near the fence. Ben goes back, looks up, leaps, and somebody reached over, but it's problematical whether there was interference. I sure couldn't tell.
The Brewers are still raging. There is a yellow railing out there atop the wall. And the Brewers are claiming that if the fan had not leaned over that railing, Ben Ogilvie would have been able to make the catch. But the umpire, along the left field line, Larry Barnett, was way out there and in position. Harvey Keene, the Milwaukee manager, is out there.
Harvey's saying he reached over. You can tell by his gestures. And Keene is saying the fan reached over that yellow railing and interfered.
And as we look at our monitor here in the booth, we see that very definitely it appeared that that fan did have his forearms and hands out over that railing. So it would appear that the Brewers do have a case. And look at Ben Ogilvie. He is just staring a hole at that fan who did lean over the railing. Well, that's a case of the hometown fans getting a little bit too exuberant. They announce before every game that you're welcome to any ball, sit into the stands, but please don't interfere. You could hurt the chances of either team by leaning over the railing for a foul ball, or in this case, a ball that turns out to be a home run ball.
And to be safe, that fan better head on home, I think.
Right now, Harvey Keene making his way slowly back to the Milwaukee dugout. So it is 5-1 Brewers. A home run for Bob Boone. That would be Bob's second hit in the series. And the batter, Brian Downing. Now they have draped a banner over a railing in left center field, and they're asking the fans to pull that back. Now you see the importance of the home run hit by Paul Molitor in the bottom of the 7th. The line by Don Sutton, the pitch to Downing. He lifts a fly ball into short center. In comes Gorman Thomas and makes the catch. One away. So Downing is 0 for 4 in the contest. Here is Rod Carew. Rod had the first hit of the game, a single to center with 1 out in the first. The home run by Boone, hit number 5 off Don Sutton in the first, 4 extra bases. Ben Ogilvie was just thoroughly frustrated. There's a strike to Rod Carew. Nicely thrown on the inside corner. As soon as Ben Ogilvie came down from his leap, he was ranting and raving. Carew bunts, charging his Molitor, throws after hitching, and the ball is thrown low, and Carew will be safe at first. Molitor had a little trouble getting the ball out of his glove, and Carew has a bunt single.
Very tough play, even if he feels it cleanly. You wonder about it, but he did take a hitch, and then his throw was low and skipped past Cooper, so that took the doubt away, and it scored as a hit for Carew, his second hit of the game.
Jackson to the plate. Reggie singled his last time up. He's 1 out of 3. He has also struck out twice. Once swinging, once called. 5-1 Milwaukee, top of the 8th. So the Angels, for the first time in the game, making some noise offensively. Reggie setting himself at the plate. Don Sutton gets the sign from Ted Simmons. Pitches to Jackson and throws a strike on the outside corner. Without the home run by Paul Molitor, Reggie Jackson would represent the tying run. No balls and a strike. Left-hand hitter waiting. Now time called by plate umpire Rich Garcia. Nothing in one on Reggie Jackson. Don Sutton's pitch. Swung and he missed as Sutton pulled the string on him. And it's 0-2. Reggie way out in front of that off-speed delivery.
First pitch, a fastball outside. He worked him outside a couple of times. And then that off-speed pitch really fooled him.
Now Don with the count his way, 0-2. Carew has extended his lead a little bit at first, and Sutton steps off the rubber. Carew stole a base back in the first. Reggie takes low and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The hits are now evened up at 6 apiece. But the Brewers lead 5-1. One on, 1 out, 1-2 on Reggie Jackson. Sutton a long look at Simmons, now ready. And the 1-2 delivery. He struck him out. Reggie Jackson fans for the 3rd time. And that is strikeout number 9 for Don Sutton. Here's Fred Lynn. He walked in the first, singled in the 4th, and struck out in the 6th. So Reggie Jackson striking out on a Don Sutton pitch, which he kept down and away from him. Now Carew at first, 2 away. The breeze continues to blow toward the right field corner. Fastball missed outside, 1 ball and no strikes. A leadoff home run by Bob Boone, and a hotly disputed home run. The 1-0 pitch. Lynn goes the other way and hoists a drive up the left field line. Ogilvie into the corner. Leaps, and it's a fair ball. The ball gets away from him. Here comes Carew to score, and there goes Lynn to second base with a double. 3:15 down the left field line here at County Stadium. And Lynn, who has good power the other way, hoisted a drive into the left field corner. Ogilvie leaping against the fence. Appeared to get the glove on the ball, but when he made contact with the fence, it got away from him and rolled into foul territory. Rod Carew scoring easily. And Lynn ends up at second base with a double. It is now 5-2 Milwaukee, and Ogilvie shook himself up when he hit the fence. And now it's the Milwaukee trainer's turn to tend to one of their players, Ben Ogilvie.
He got his glove on it. Then it was a very tough play because he was playing Lynn to pull the ball. He was over in left center field, had a long run to go, and the ball was in the corner. And he leaped for it, got his glove on it right at the corner there where the 3:15 marker is. And as he went up, he seemed to hurt himself. But he'll stay in the game.
It would have been a sensational catch. And, of course, anytime a left-handed hitter hits the ball down the left field line, the ball is slicing away from the outfielder. Of course, the only way that Ben could have come as close to catching the ball as he did, the fact that he had the glove on the right hand, that he's a left-handed thrower. So the Angels, making some noise here in the top of the 8th, have scored 2 and have a runner at second with 2 out. And here is Don Baylor. And a long one now, and the Angels are within 1. Baylor, 0 for 2 in the game, walked his last time up. 5-2 Brewers. Top of the 8th. Here's the pitch to Baylor. Hit hard and fair up the left field line. Lynn will score. Baylor around first and on his way to second base with a double. And now the tying run will be at the plate. Baylor doubles into the left field corner. And out comes Milwaukee manager Harvey Keene. This inning started with that home run by Bob Boone, which the Brewers were sure should have been ruled fan interference. Brian Downing then flied out to center field. Rod Carew bunted his way on, but Reggie Jackson struck out. And it appeared that Don Sutton might escape the inning. But back-to-back doubles by Lynn and Baylor. And now the Angels are within two and will have the tying run at the plate. Harvey Keene visiting with Ted Simmons and Don Sutton. Harvey has given no indication yet that he'll go to the bullpen here. And now plate umpire Rich Garcia arrives at the mound to see what Harvey Keene has in mind. Pete Ladd is throwing in the Milwaukee bullpen. The Angels have now out-hit the Brewers 8-6. Milwaukee's still leading by 2, but now the Angels breathing down their necks. Harvey Keene still out there. And now we see that they are going to make a pitching change. So Pete Ladd, who struck out the side in Anaheim when he pitched in the opener last Tuesday night, will be the Brewers' new pitcher. The batter will be Doug DeCinces. And the Angels now within one swing of the bat in this game. So while the new pitcher is being brought in from the bullpen, let's pause for this.
Baseball's biggest event is on its way, and we've got it on CBS Radio. The 1982 World Series starts Tuesday, October 12th, and we'll have complete live coverage of every game. Veteran sportscaster Vin Scully will head up the CBS Radio sports team for all the excitement. So wherever you are, take the World Series along beginning October 12th. And we have lots more sports coming up. In postseason college football play, you'll hear the Sun Bowl, Cotton Bowl, and Senior Bowl games. And when spring rolls around, we'll be in the arenas where NCAA basketball playoffs are happening to bring you all the fast-paced action with the NCAA basketball championship game capping it all off. And then it's on to the Masters Golf Tournament with Jim Kelly and Nick Seitz greenside for CBS Radio. All this plus regular sports broadcasts every day and an overflowing portion every weekend. The best all-round sports coverage all year round is yours right here on the CBS Radio Network.
It's a great ovation for Sutton as he leaves the mound. He folded here in the 8th inning as the Angels rallied for 3 to cut the Milwaukee lead to 5-3, but he leaves with a great cheer from the Milwaukee County Stadium fans. And Pete Ladd, the big right-hander from Portland, Maine, will take over now and try to choke off these Angels in their half of the 8th inning. Sutton went 7 2/3. He allowed 3 runs on 8 hits. He walked 2, and he struck out a total of 9. He folded there in the 8th inning. The home run by Boone scored the first Angel run. And then after Downing lofted a short fly to the center fielder Thomas, Carew picked up a bunt single. Reggie Jackson struck out. It seemed as if Sutton might get out of any real trouble. But then Fred Lynn hit a slicing drive to left field. Ogilvy made a valiant effort, raced for the ball from the left center over to the corner in left, got his glove on it, couldn't hang on. It was a 2-base hit. And then Baylor followed immediately on the next pitch with a line drive double down the third base side. And that's where we are now at County Stadium. Pete Ladd, a record of 1-3 during the regular season, will be pitching to Doug DeCinces, who in this game has a single in 3 turns. Let's go back to Denny Matthews.
All right, Ernie, and Doug DeCinces, sore nose and all, coming to the plate, and he represents the tying run. Doug is 1 out of 3 in the game. He struck out his last time up there after hitting a foul ball down on home plate and having it come up and smack him right square on the nose. Baylor at second, DeCinces at the plate, and Pete Ladd's pitch. Breaking ball for a strike, and the count is 0-1. We mentioned Peter Ladd striking out the side in Anaheim last Tuesday night. In the 7th inning, he struck out Reggie Jackson, Fred Lynn, and Rod Carew, all swinging. But he's right in the pressure cooker now. There wasn't as much pressure, certainly, on Tuesday night in Anaheim. There is here. Way inside, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike.
Denny, this is a spot that ordinarily you'd see Rollie Fingers right in there, but he's got that muscle tear, and I guess they're a little reluctant to use him anywhere.
So Harvey Keene fingered Peter Ladd, and here's the stretch, the 1-1 pitch. Fastball thrown hard, but blowing outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Doug DeCinces, who hit 30 home runs during the regular year, 97 RBIs, and finished with a batting average of .301. So he is certainly capable of the long ball. And the long ball here would tie it. 5-3 Milwaukee, 8th inning. The pitch. Swung and he missed at a fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Peter Ladd, who was obtained by the Brewers from the Houston Astros. Listen to this crowd. They're trying to get behind Pete Ladd and help him get that one final strike on Doug DeCinces. We are in the top of the 8th. Baylor at second. 2 away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Signal given. The stretch. The pitch. Bouncing ball deep short. Cut off by Molitor. Throw to first in time. Doug DeCinces grounds out from Molitor to Cooper. Molitor going a long way to his left to end the inning. But the Angels right back in it. They scored 3 runs on 4 hits. A home run, 2 doubles, and a bunt single. They leave 1. They have stranded 6. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's now Milwaukee 5, California 3.
Prestone would like to take you on a journey into an inferno. Into a world of screaming pistons, exploding gases, temperatures topping 4,000 degrees. Into the world where your radiator works, cooling the blast furnace you call a car engine. It's murder. The hotter today's cars run, the easier all that heat makes it for rust and corrosion to build up in your cooling system. Without Prestone protection, you could be heading for trouble after just 10,000 miles of driving on weak, neglected antifreeze. Trouble such as boilovers, burned valves, even a cracked cylinder head could happen to you if the rust builds up enough. So protect your radiator, drain it every year, and put in fresh Prestone 2 with patented silicone silicate. Prestone 2 fights rust. Deep inside, trust Prestone.
If we told you here about the mileage you get with a Honda Civic 4-door wagon, we wouldn't have time to tell you about its generous interior space, that it comes loaded with practical standard equipment, and that it's one of the lowest priced wagons in America. So spend a little time with your Honda dealer and learn about its mileage. Our time is up.
Here we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Ted Simmons, after Andy Hassler's first pitch, swings and misses. Ted Simmons, 1 out of 3. Singled and scored back in the 4th. Hassler comes back with a breaking ball and throws a strike, and it's 0-2. Ted Simmons up there right-handed now. Norman Thomas and Ben Ogilvy will follow. 5-3 Milwaukee, bottom of the 8th inning. Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. Bouncing ball to shortstop. Tim Foley's got it on the first for the out. Simmons grounds out. Let's pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
This is the voice of Philadelphia, 1210 WCAU AM, Philadelphia.
Along with Ernie Harwell, this is Denny Matthews at County Stadium, Milwaukee. Quite a ball game. 5-3 Milwaukee. Brewers batting in the bottom of the 8th. Norman Thomas 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. Andy Hassler's pitch. Fastball is over, strike 1. The Angels in their 9th will have the lower part of their batting order. Gritch, Foley, and Boone are the scheduled hitters. The 0-1 pitch. Fly ball into left center field. Fred Lynn is there and makes the catch. 2 down. That will bring up Ben Ogilvy. Ben hit by a pitch in the second, singled in the fourth, and fouled out to DeCinces in the sixth. The difference in the game right now, Paul Molitor's 7th inning 2-run homer. Here's the line by Andy Hassler, the pitch. Inside corner, strike 1. If these two teams meet again tomorrow, it will be Moose Haas against Ken Forsch. Curve on the outside corner, strike 2. So Hassler's made 2 great pitches to Ben Ogilvy. Airtime tomorrow, 12:50 Eastern Time. The Angels and the Brewers, if necessary. Blowing outside, 1-2 the count on Ben Ogilvy. A reminder tonight at 8:07 p.m. Eastern Time, the Atlanta Braves and the St. Louis Cardinals in their second game. Jack Buck and Jerry Coleman will have the play-by-play from St. Louis. Cardinals took the opener from the Braves last night, 7-0. The 1-2 pitch had him lunging, a little pop-up into short left center. Out goes Foley and makes a nice catch with his back to the infield. So Ogilvy pops to Foley. And now we go to the top of the ninth with the score, Milwaukee 5, California 3.
He's at the 30, the 20, the 10.
Miss it? You don't have to. You can strike 2. Go bowling. Bowling, where strikes mean action, and the action doesn't quit. So get out now, bring the whole gang, and show them all how much fun a strike can be. Go bowling. Lanes are available right now. National Bowling Council, Washington, D.C.
What's 5 foot-ish, does its homework every night, and is on CBS TV this fall.
Square peg, square peg, square peg.
We're both in a class of our own.
For sure, for sure.
Trouble is we're in it all alone.
Why, totally. Square peg, square peg, square peg.
We're the straightest days, the high school scenes. People laugh at us on their TV screens.
Square peg, square peg, square peg.
Monday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain on CBS TV.
Square peg.
Say, don't miss out on the fun and excitement of baseball next year. Now is the time to do something about it. Now is the time to make sure you and your family don't miss out on next season's exciting games. Call your favorite team and ask about 1983 season tickets. I'm sure they'll have a ticket plan to fit your needs. It's a great way to entertain your family and business associates. Do it now and join the millions of fans every year to enjoy Major League Baseball at the ballpark. Baseball fever. Catch it now for 1983. It will be worth it. The preceding message furnished by Major League Baseball. Well, we have quite a tussle going at County Stadium, Milwaukee. Beautiful afternoon, and it is the Angels coming up in the top of the ninth. It'll be Gritch, Foley, and Boone. And Peter Ladd in a pressure situation. The Brewers must win. 5 runs, 6 hits for Milwaukee, 3 runs, 8 hits for California. Bobby Gritch has struck out 3 times. He shows bunt and takes a strike. Warming up in the Milwaukee bullpen is Raleigh Fingers. Tim Foley in the on-deck circle. Ladd is working from the stretch to start the inning. He did that in Anaheim the other night. Fouled back by Gritch, and it's 0-2. Milwaukee's scoring 3 runs in the 4th, 2 in the 7th. The Angels 3 in the top of the 8th. The 2-strike pitch. Check swing, ground ball past the pitcher. Second baseman Gantner's got it over to first in time. So Bobby Gritch 0 for 4 in the game. Now Tim Foley has been called back. The pinch hitter will be Rob Wilfong. Wilfong batting for Tim Foley. Well, we talked about Rod Carew and what a superb bunter he is. Here's another man, Wilfong, one of the best bunters in the American League. He will bunt either way. He'll drop it up along third. Sometimes he'll try to drag a bunt out toward the second baseman. And the Brewers, of course, well apprised of that. They have third baseman Paul Molitor very shallow. Wilfong can handle the bat. His job here, get on base. The Angels trail by 2. They need a base runner to have a chance. The pitch is outside, ball 1. 5-3 Milwaukee, top of the ninth. Pete Ladd trying to save it. The right-hander's pitch. Outside corner, strike called, and it's 1-1. It still seems strange to see a pitcher working from the stretch with nobody on base. But he is more comfortable doing that way. And the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. It's 1-2. So Peter Ladd in the Wisconsin twilight just standing out there and throwing bullets. There is a thin shaft of sunlight now between the mound and the plate. The 1-2 delivery. He struck him out. Rob Wilfong goes down swinging, and Ladd threw a breaking ball and kept it down. Now Bob Boone to the plate. Bob hit that disputed home run to lead off the Angel 8th inning. So the Brewers, with their fans standing and roaring at County Stadium, just 1 out away from prolonging the series. The pitch. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Peter Ladd has faced 3 and retired all 3. He got to Sensei in the 8th inning. And now Gretchen Wilfong here in the 9th. The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, 0-2. And Boone did not have a good swing. Now County Stadium really rocking. 0-2 on Boone. Here's the pitch. Fouled away, upper deck, first base side. And the count holds at 0-2. 5-3 Brewers. 2 out in the 9th. Peter Ladd gets the sign. Here's the stretch. Here's the pitch. Struck him out. The Brewers win it 5-3. Peter Ladd being congratulated by all the Brewers. So Ladd comes out of the bullpen in the 8th and saves it. The Brewers are still alive. There will be Game 4 tomorrow. The third game of the 1982 American League Championship Series is now history. The final score, Milwaukee 5, California 3.
If you're considering marriage counseling but think you can't afford it, this message is for you. Family Service of Philadelphia, a private, non-profit agency, provides professional, accredited marriage counseling for people of all income levels. At Family Service, counseling is always affordable because fees are on a sliding scale. So don't let cost put you off any longer. The marriage you save may be your own. Call Family Service at 875-3300. That number again, 875-3300.
What's it like to own a Buick Riviera? Well, remember when you were maybe 9 or 10 and you'd get a chance to ride in the front seat of your dad's car with all those wonderful buttons and dials around you, and everything, including you, seemed larger than life? That's kind of what it's like. The Buick Riviera, a technologically advanced, marvelously equipped, incredibly handsome, luxurious road car with the almost magical ability to make otherwise rational, mature adults feel like kids again.
The Milwaukee Brewers, on the edge of extinction here, have fought back and kept this playoff series alive. They faced the sweep by the California Angels, but they got a big home run by Molitor, a 2-run homer that proved to be the difference, and then brought in a rookie right-hander, Pete Ladd, with less than 3 months big league experience, and he slammed the door in the faces of the California Angels when they threatened to get back in the ball game in the 8th inning. He got the Cincy on a bounce out the 3rd to end the 8th, as the Angels had rallied for 3, and then he set them down 1-2-3 in the 9th inning to preserve the victory for Don Sutton. Jeff Zahn, the starter, Wint and Hassler followed him. Sutton began on the mound for the Brewers, and Pete Ladd relieved him in the 8th inning. And the totals in the game: Milwaukee had 5 runs on 6 hits and no errors. California had 3 runs, 8 hits, and no errors. And we'll continue in just a moment.
Alvin Olds clearing out 82 demos to break sales record. Alvin Oldsmobile is running a special on new 1982 leftovers.
These 82 demos will go with the highest amount ever given on trade-ins. Your trade has never been worth so much. 82 demos, new leftovers, and executive cars. All must go because Alvin Olds is out to break their sales record. Visit today and convince yourself that this is the best deal on 82 demos. Alvin Olds, located on Route 70 at the Racetrack Circle in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, also runs a first-class modern equipped body shop. No job is too small for Alvin Olds. Their leasing department handles all makes and models of cars, trucks, and vans. They lease to individuals and to fleets. Daily rentals are also available. Stop in today at Alvin Olds, Route 70 at the Racetrack Circle in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and check out the leftover 82 demos.
This third game of the American League Championship Series started off in a sedate fashion. Looked like a pitching duel between Jeff Zahn, the California left-hander, and Don Sutton, the right-hander from Milwaukee. They went through the first 3.5 innings, scoreless, with each team having no runs and one hit. And then in the fourth inning, Robin Yount, the fine shortstop of the Brewers, started off with a base on ball. And then Cecil Cooper came to bat. There goes a runner. The pitch is swung on. There's a drive to right. Back in the corner, and it is deep off the wall. Here comes Robin Yount around third. He's coming home. He scores. Milwaukee leads on the double by Cooper. And that broke the scoreless tie, and then Simmons followed with a single, getting Cooper into third base. Gorman Thomas then lifted a sacrifice fly to center field, scoring Cooper with a second run, and Simmons went to third on a single by the left fielder Ogilvy with one out, and then he romped home on a sacrifice fly by Don Money. So the Brewers had a 3-0 lead at that point. Molitor came to bat in the seventh inning and hit what turned out to be a very key blow. Money had walked to open that inning, then sacrificed to second, gone to third on a fly ball off the bat of Gantner, and then up stepped Molitor, the Brewer third baseman.
The 2-2 pitch, belted to deep left field. Back goes Brian Downing. Home run!
And that was all the scoring by the Brewers. They had that 5-0 lead. Sutton was coasting along into the eighth inning. And in the eighth, the Angels began to flap their halos a little bit. And here's what happened. Bob Boone stepped up first.
The pitch to Bob Boone is hit to left field. Back goes Ben Ogilvy at the wall and reaches up, and it's a home run. It just got over the glove, and in fact, I think they are arguing that a fan reached over and interfered with Ben Ogilvy. All the Brewers are out to protest.
And apparently that's what did happen. A fan reached over, and the Brewers were irate but couldn't do anything about it. The home run by Boone stood as the first California run. Then after Downing fly to center, Carew had a bunt single. Jackson struck out. It looked as if Sutton might get out of trouble, but Lynn had a key hit, a double, off the left field wall to drive home Carew with another run, and then it got a little bit touchy. Don Baylor stepped up for the Angels.
5-2 Brewers. Top of the eighth. There's the pitch to Baylor. Hit hard and fair up the left field line. Lynn will score. Baylor around first and on his way to second base with a double. And now the tying run will be at the plate.
And the tying run was at the plate, and it was Doug DeCinces, but Pete Ladd, the big deputy sheriff from Maine, the rookie right-hander, came in, got DeCinces to end the inning, and then got the side out 1-2-3, ending with a flourish in the ninth as he fanned two hitters, Wilfong and Boone, to preserve the victory and keep Milwaukee in contention. Let's pause for this word.
Olé! Ferdinand and Isabella would have loved it. You will, too. It's the big Columbus Day sale at John Wanamaker. Your perfect opportunity to invest in men's famous maker clothing at 20% off. That's 20% off men's three-piece suits of 100% wool, stripes, solids, plaids. 20% off Shetland wool sport coats at $119.99. 20% off classic blazers at $99.99. 20% off Wanamaker's own wool blend flannel slacks at $32.99. And 20% off gabardine slacks at $39.99. Great tailoring for men on their way to the top. Great styling for men who know how to look the part. Great value for men smart enough to make it. Great looks from John Wanamaker men's stores. Now 20% off during our big Columbus Day sale. So sit sale right now and discover a world full of savings at the store you count on for the right looks, the right prices. John Wanamaker.
Denny Matthews, we saw an exciting finish here. Everybody is bemoaning the fact, from the Milwaukee side at least, that Raleigh Fingers might not be available. He finally got to warm up a little bit there in the ninth inning, but the young man who is just a rookie with less than 3 months' experience, Pete Ladd, came in and did the job that Raleigh usually does.
Ernie, it's hard to say how much the experience in Anaheim, striking out those 3 hitters that we mentioned, helped the young man's confidence, but apparently it did it a world of good because he looked like a very confident pitcher out there today, and in a pressure situation, I don't see how the pressure could be any more intense than it was today in that spot. Why, he looked like the old pro out there. He just looked like he had ice water in the veins, just went out there, threw strikes, and really got the job done.
And Milwaukee stays in the race, so to speak, and tomorrow it will be Ken Forsch on the mound for the Angels against Moose Haas, the right-hander for the Milwaukee Brewers. And I have to say the big hit of the ball game was the home run by Molitor.
It didn't seem like it at the time, perhaps, because the Brewers had scored 3 runs in the 4th inning, and indeed we were talking about getting an additional insurance run, and I'm sure that Molitor with that runner at third would have liked to have just had a base hit, but he got not only the insurance run home, but also himself with the home run, and it proved to be 2 very, very big runs.
And Don Sutton turned in a fine performance, weakening a little bit there in the late innings, but he had great help from Pete Ladd. Let's pause for this word.
No matter how banks twist and turn to get you to invest in their savings certificates, they can't offer you what Delaware Cash Reserve does. High money market dividends, credited daily with no penalty liquidity. Liquidity means that if an emergency should arise, if a good business opportunity presents itself, if your dream house comes on the market, your money is yours to use without penalty. If you only need part of the money, that's all you take out, and you go right on collecting those high money market dividends on the remainder. If you need it all, you take it all, including all dividends. With Delaware Cash Reserve, you can even elect to write checks on your account. Now that's liquidity. For a free prospectus and more complete information, including management fees and expenses, call Collect anytime. 215-988-1333. 988-1333. Read it carefully before you invest or send money. Delaware Cash Reserve. The Money Market Fund from the Delaware Group.
CBS Radio Sports has been happy to bring you game number 3 of the 1982 American League Championship Series. Today's broadcast sponsored by Honda, maker of Civics, Accords, and the Prelude, by Delco Electronics, by the State Farm Insurance Companies, by Jartran Truck Rental, and by Motorcraft Automotive Products. Our engineer today was Steve Kirsch of CBS Radio in New York, our producer David Kerman. Frank Miller is executive producer for CBS Radio Sports. Later today, on many of these same stations, you'll hear the second game of the National League Championship Series at 8:07 Eastern Time. And we'll return with the 4th game of the American League Championship Series tomorrow at 12:50 Eastern Time. And once again, the Milwaukee Brewers defeat the California Angels 5-3. Along with Denny Matthews, this is Ernie Harwell from County Stadium in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, saying so long for the CBS Radio Sports.